last time you checked your home title. Scammers are targeting your equity with just a single forged document they file at the county. So don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. On this Monday, hard work and honesty pays off in America. Confronting Evil, the #1 book on the New York Times bestseller list. That makes 20 of my books hitting that spot. World record for nonfiction. Okay, enough self-aggrandizement, O'Reilly. Evil is an important subject as the nation mourns Charlie Kirk and the detestable Putin continues slaughtering innocent people in Ukraine. And then there's Hamas, which has brought horror onto the Palestinian people. I opened the book with the Hamas October 7th atrocity. I want to put you right in the middle of evil. Now, we can't look away, and we cannot distort the truth any longer. There is evil around us. Comes in many forms. It might even be in your own house. Different points of view are not evil. Competing interests are not either. But harming others in pursuit of venality, power, and or money is absolutely evil. And remember, true villains have no remorse. I learned a lot from writing this book. I have increased my goal of exposing dangerous behavior, and you will learn a tremendous amount if you read Confronting Evil. #1 on the Times list. I hope you check it out. Back in a moment. Bill O'Reilly here. If you are stuck in a timeshare you no longer want, my friends at Lone Star Transfer can assist. Over the past 15 years, the family-owned company has helped more than 30,000 owners break free from their timeshares. They'll provide a guaranteed solution to exit your timeshare. So please call Lone Star Transfer 833-594-0079 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. For more news and honest analysis, please go to BillO'Reilly.com.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, Saturday's rain put a dent in the drought. Gotta love that. But we've slipped back into a dry pattern until our next chance of showers arrives on Friday. In the meantime, a little bit of a seesaw temperature pattern. 74 today under sunny skies. Winds turning breezy out of the south. Some gusts to 35 miles per hour. A couple of clouds this evening. That's a dry cold front moving through. Down to 50 early tomorrow. And then behind that front, cooler again. Tuesday, sunny and 67 with, again, gusty winds. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
We know it's early. Mike's not totally awake yet either. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Government shutdown, no Kings protest over the weekend. What do you make of everything going on with these? All right, we're going to review and get your thoughts on that here in just a little bit. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Good morning, Mike Ferguson here. All right, I just want to let you know, tomorrow on the program, I know it's Monday, but I'm already talking about Tuesday. Tomorrow at 7:05, just to let you know, we have a change coming to the morning show, and we are going to tell you what that is and make that announcement tomorrow. So go ahead and make a mental note and be with us Tuesday for sure at 7:05. Hopefully you're with us the whole time before then, but just to get that out of the way and just let you know that that is going to happen. It's a big announcement. All right. We had a conversation with our friend Craig Rucker. Now, you may not know that name, but he's on the right side of trying to combat all of this climate, big government craziness type of thing. He's with an organization called CFACT, and they caught wind of something that's being pushed right now, and that is an effort to at least indirectly tax us through the United Nations and an affiliated organization, all in the name of battling climate change. So here's what Craig had to say to fill us in on this on Friday's program. Okay, so talk me down from this, Craig. The United Nations is not trying to tax me to do climate change nonsense, are they? I mean, that's not really happening, is it?
Well, thanks for letting me on your show, Mike. I was going to say that not directly. What the United Nations has done is it's gotten itself involved in a lot of things that people don't generally pay attention to. And in this particular case, it's working through the International Maritime Organization, IMO, and this deals with traditionally safety standards for ships and things of that sort for the international travel, which makes sense that you would have some sort of entity out there. It actually goes back to the Titanic, making sure that, the shipping lanes are clear and, because those are international waters and there's some sort of regulation so that they don't collide into each other and things are kept in order. However, this organization, which goes back about 100 years or so, actually has deviated. Starting in about the 80s, it got involved with the United Nations and started working on things like sustainability goals and climate change. Fast-tracked, just in 2023, they adopted the UN net zero goals. They want to try and make ships that don't emit any carbon dioxide by the year 2050. So they basically jumped on board the climate bandwagon. Back in 2023, the Biden administration signed on. And now the whole controversy that's come up in just the last few weeks is that they want to try and make all ships zero carbon ships within that time frame. And those nations that don't do that or try and transition to that will get a pretty hefty tax per ton on what they transport. The Trump administration, specifically Rubio, Duffy, and Wright in Department of Energy, said that it would be disastrous for the economy, and they threatened trade sanctions against any country that signs on to this deal. The vote is going on as we speak, but if it does go through, as it did back in, I believe, April of this year, was a preliminary vote, if the 2/3 of the nation sign on to this, yes, there would be a carbon tax collected by the UN to promote its sustainability goals and its whole climate agenda.
Okay, so when we're talking about making ships, and people here in the Midwest, I don't think we truly understand how massive these ships are, but you can't just put a muffler on one. So what is it that they're wanting to change with the ships, and how would that actually affect us getting our stuff, in addition to the United Nations doing an indirect tax, basically taxing it before it gets to the U.S., so we would have trouble blocking it? I mean, it would just affect our cost of living the way that a tariff would.
It's a good question. I mean, obviously something like a nuclear submarine would be zero emission, but, things like the big ships, it's a good question as to what they would actually say. We know they can't run on solar panels. We also know that natural gas would not be considered a clean fuel. And that's particularly what has the Trump administration upset. But the type of zero emission vehicles that they're talking about, whether they're electric or however they're going to go about doing it, would principally be built in China, which is one of the ones backing this treaty to a big degree, as is India, as is Brazil. So they must see it in their economic interest to pursue this, whereas Middle Eastern countries, which do a lot of the shipping, are not so interested in doing this. So I suspect it's as much an economic treaty as it has anything to do with climate. And in fact, having gone to a bunch of the climate negotiations, I would actually say that really the whole climate thing's a farce, because I don't think we're going to burn up from climate change. I think it's just being used as a way to pressure rich developed nations into benefiting China, India, and lesser developed nations through transfer payments.
Yeah, and what is it that they would do with this money that they would be trying to tax us? And by the way, I've got a hostile reaction to any sort of UN trying to tax me for anything directly or indirectly, but that's a whole other thing. But what is it, if they're successful in doing this, what is it that they would want to do with the money in the name of climate, whatever?
Yes, well, they actually, this agency, the International Maritime Organization, is committed and tied to the group that puts through something initially called Agenda 21, and it was changed to Agenda 2030. There's SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And these are things outlined in order to try and transfer society to be kind of what Biden was doing with the Green New Deal. A society based on, electric vehicles, getting rid of fossil fuels, miles of solar panels and things, people living in 15-minute cities, being told what type of food you can eat, like red meat, for example, would be too greenhouse gas intensive. The UN has kind of a globalist vision for how society should operate, with them in charge, of course, and probably exempt from all these things. And the UN doesn't have the money to do it because, of course, they rely mostly, I think, 90% on voluntary contributions. A tax would give them, the start of reliable income that they could, get every single year. So it's actually a very dangerous proposal. And thank God we have Trump in there trying to stop it.
Are we able to stop this? I mean, is there something the United States could do to either block it or simply refuse to allow the payments to be collected? Or is this something that would happen before the shipments get to the U.S.? I guess the simple version of that is, what can we do about it?
Well, I think the Trump administration is doing exactly what needs to be done. First thing they're trying to do is stop it. The vote is taking place as we speak here, so we don't have the results of it. There is a real chance it'll pass initially, but what the Trump administration is trying to do is not, when they say change the rules, they're actually trying to make the rules the way they traditionally are. What used to happen when you sign the Kyoto Protocol or Paris Accord is there'd be an agreement reached, but then those nations would have to go back to their legislatures or the people that elected them and get it ratified. And so the Trump administration wants that to be the case. And of course, if the IMO and China and India don't want it, they want a bunch of unelected bureaucrats to make the decision and not have to take it back to their people for a vote. But if they do take it back for their vote, then the Trump administration has lots of things at their disposal. They could put tariffs on those countries. They've said that they may not allow certain countries that have accepted this proposal to even use their ports. So they're going serious economic sanctions if countries decide to sign on to this thing. And I think it'll have an impact because, again, we're not alone. You have a number of nations that are primarily involved in shipping in the Middle East that would certainly join us. And I think there are a lot of even developing nations that would not be happy about having any sort of sanctions from the U.S.
What kind of effect could this have on our lives individually? I mean, those of us who are just buying stuff at the store or ordering stuff in. I mean, if they get this global tax on this, how much would that affect all of us here in flyover country?
Oh, I think it would affect quite a bit. I don't think it's too early that there hasn't been really economic analysis done that's reliable. I'm sure the UN has done its studies, but I wouldn't take those too seriously. As far as it goes, I mean, whenever you have a tax of this sort, I think it's $100 per ton. It could be $350 per ton. That's excessive. Those costs will be passed on to consumers, and whether that increases prices 5, 10, who knows what percent. It'll definitely be felt by people at home. But I think even more profoundly, and this is the part we want to make at CFAC, is we're allowing the UN just to start. Once you give them the power to tax, they have the power to destroy. And you're giving an agency that has been very corrupt and is pushing a very dangerous agenda a lot of money to continue doing it. It's kind of the camel's nose under the tent. So we would caution everybody that this is a dangerous development and the start of many bad things that could come if they get away with it.
All right. And we learn more about all of this stuff happening, I'm assuming, on your website, your social media. Craig, how are we in touch, and how do we keep track of this?
Certainly. We encourage people to find out more. They can visit us at cfact.org. That's CFACT, cfact.org.
All right, 314-912-1019. What'd you make of all of the No Kings stuff that happened on Saturday? Got some thoughts about that? Let me know. We'll review that real quick here in just a couple of minutes on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
We know what's going on.
To have our great awakening.
You see through the smoke screen.
It's cool to be woke.
News Talk STL.
Until it's not.
News, analysis, opinion.
Remember those magical moments in Mom's kitchen? The heavenly aroma of fresh baked cookies? At Trolley Stop Bakery in Chesterfield's Forum Shopping Center, our co-op of talented bakers has been perfecting that homemade magic for 4 decades. From the gooeyest cookies in town to custom pies, cobblers, and cakes, everything's made from scratch, just like Mom and Grandma's recipes. Need that perfect corporate gift? We ship our famous cookies nationwide. The Trolley Stop Bakery, 67 Forum Shopping Center, or TrolleyStopBakery.com. Because some traditions are too sweet not to share.
Do you love going on a cruise, or have you always dreamt on going on the cruise vacation of your life? With dozens of cruise companies, who do you call to find the right vacation and deal for you? Now you can make one phone call and shop all the best deals on every single cruise line in the world. You can't get that by calling one cruise line. We have them all, with experts that know the ins and outs of every cruise ship and can tell you the best cruise for your vacation needs. Our cruise packages start at $149. Plus, we offer free internet, free guest packages, and cash back deals. So now is your chance to book the cruise of your lifetime. Call the cruise hotline right now and shop every single cruise line in the world. Here's the number. Call 800-430-7924, 800-430-7924, 800-430-7924. That's 800-430-7924.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Okay, 2 things. One, I got to break out my my sweatshirt today.
That is a fine sweatshirt.
That's my Battlehawks one, but just the fact that I got to do it was chilly enough to do that, to justify that. I'm very, very happy about that. Okay, that means nothing to anybody except I like that. Secondly, Allison, just on Rumble, right off the bat, she's saying Trump is still the president. I'm like, wait a minute. I have it on good authority. I was told all weekend long that we have a king that needs to be run off the throne. What's this president talk?
Well,
we have a king.
I think we should thank them. The fact that we haven't seen any kings
that's
really
true.
Means that they scared them all off.
Okay,
right?
Maybe that's it. Okay. All right. It's 5:48. Soggy weather didn't. I mean, I'm sure it dampened their turnout a little bit in the St. Louis area, but they give credit where credit's due. They had a pretty good turnout at like 10 or 12 of these things around the St. Louis area. They had pretty good numbers as far as rallies and protests go. I'm still not quite sure what they accomplished, but they had those, and at least in the St. Louis area. And for the most part, there were some skirmishes like in Portland and I think one in Chicago. But for the most part, these were done peacefully. And in the St. Louis area, from everything I could find, I did not go watch any of them. I had better things to do, like sit on my butt and watch TV. But they, again, like the first time they did the No Kings thing, they did it the proper way. They, waved their flags, made their signs, they exercised their First Amendment right to say stupid stuff. But they did, there were no reports of traffic being, blocked other than downtown. They decided to march through the streets. And it was the same thing that happened last time. They decided to do their march, and the police department puts out, social media posts saying, the First Amendment, exercising their First Amendment right is impacting traffic, meaning they've simply taken over these streets for their march. And people always ask them, did they get a permit for this? Did they coordinate this? Or are you just letting them go walk through the streets? And the police department never answers, which means that they let the so-called protesters take the lead and decide, who got to be in the street and who didn't. Try that with a pro-life march and see what happens.
Yeah.
Try that with a Second Amendment march and see what happens. Try that with a school choice march and see what happens. You're not going to get the same treatment in the city of St. Louis.
And the thing that really stands out to me that is odd is the groups that are out there protesting No Kings were the same one calling Kamala Harris Queen Bee and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, it's not about not having a ruler, apparently. It's just having not their ruler in charge.
Yeah, that really is it. Now listen, I I think for everything that Trump is doing right on some things, I think there are things he's doing extra constitutionally.
Yeah.
And so, that's what makes me a conservatarian. We'll get into in just a minute or here, he's decided to kind of go to political war with the two most conservative, two most constitutional members of Congress. So I've got my disagreements, but I still acknowledge he's doing a lot of stuff right. And that's just me trying to call the balls and strikes on it. But the funny part is that it was pointed out by many people on social media over the weekend. Okay, wait a minute. You wanted dictatorial powers for governors and presidents and mayors and county executives to shut down your life, even cite you or arrest you if you went outside or had somebody over to your house. You want them to tell your kids where they're going to go to school, where you can send your kids to. I mean, so all of the big government micromanaging of your life, last 4 years, that has not been happening, from the right. Now, there are some things on the right that I think are too big government that I don't want to see. A lot of that's economics and that sort of thing. But it's funny because it just kind of rings hollow.
Yeah.
But they don't see that. So here's the plan for today. Basically, I want everybody to have their chance to have a say on it. Maybe you've got a critique. Maybe you're in support of it. You're welcome to say what you want to say on that as well. Maybe you want to make fun of it, whatever the case is. So I'm going to give basically 2 or 3 chances throughout the morning to have your say on the whole no kings thing. Essentially, and by the way, I got some audio from some of the protests around the metro area, both sides of the river. And then there was one in Chicago. Did you see this? There was a guy who was, now I don't know which one, because there were many of them in Chicago. I don't know which one he was at. And it actually took me the better part of the morning to actually confirm that it was what it looked like.
Oh,
because he basically, and I'll play the audio for you here right on 620 or so. And he was basically saying, turn the guns on the fascist. Every ICE agent needs to be shot.
Wow.
I mean, it was full on, no double entendre, no nothing, and of course he got a big round of applause for that. And so we're seeing a lot of things on social media where people are saying, look at this. And then it turns out it's video from something else.
Yeah.
MSNBC showed video from like 2017 of them. Did you see this?
Is it the Boston one?
The Boston one. Yeah. They showed this, look at this. And the guy is just gushing. I'm like, he did like gushing over the size of it. I'm like, dude, do you need a cigarette now? What? I mean, what the, really? I mean, you were really into that. And then it turns out it was video from a 2017. Now, it was a leftist march in 2017, but it wasn't the one that happened. So was the No Kings thing as big as the left claims it was? Probably not.
No.
Was it as small as conservative social media influencers say that was? No. It was pretty good size. And that shows you, I'm not congratulating them. I'm telling you that shows you how divided we are. And I've got audio, like I said, from around the St. Louis area on this.
Yeah, it is. It's a very strange place to be in sometimes, because we do have, on the one hand, it's funny when I think the last round, there's supposed to be a huge gathering, and then there were like blocks where it was like 10, 15 people. But on the other hand, we don't beat dishonest representation by being dishonest on our side either. So I do think that, I'm glad that we don't have any kings. The 4th of July was supposed to be the day for celebrating no kings, but hey, any excuse to kick the kings out, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, and the organizers say they're going to have more of these, throughout the rest of Trump's term. I don't know. You got me on that. I have no idea. But again, if you participated, you were there, you support it, let me know. My position hasn't changed. As long as you're staying peaceful, as long as you're not violating anybody's rights, you've got a right to say whatever you want. I will defend that right to the hilt. They took over, marched through some streets that apparently they did not coordinate with or get a permit for. So taking over public street and not allowing people to trap. Yeah, I think that's crossing the line, but I will acknowledge that is not violent, protest. It just means that they're allowed to get away with it in a ghost town because nobody's downtown St. Louis on Saturday anyway. So it didn't really hurt anything.
Now, our Dem friend Scooter says that rather than a leftist march, in quotes, he sees it as an opposition march.
Okay. Well,
or opposition event. But
I think they can be both. I don't disagree with that.
But at the same time, going into that ideology, I mean, what are you opposing? If you're calling it no kings, we don't have, it is in the Constitution. You cannot have a noble title and be a representative of the government. So why not just say anti-orange man or something? Because we already know that you're not happy about that. Well, how many more times do you have to organize and do this sort of stuff and then wonder why we're all just sick of it? We're like, okay, just let them do their thing. But if you're going to have and again, I don't want to knock the right to protest.
No, it's their right.
They're good, but
and they did it right.
Yeah, absolutely. That should absolutely be applauded. But protests should have outcomes, in my opinion. You should have a definitive goal saying we're going to protest until President Trump resigns or something. Like that's not.
I think that's it. I mean, and again, my guess is this is just my guess is that you've got them saying, well, wait a minute, back in the last few election cycles, Trump had all these massive rallies, and look, he ended up winning the last election. Maybe they're saying if we can get those rallies, that builds momentum going into the next election. I mean, maybe that's it. Scooter, other Democrats, is that the thought? I mean, I'm just tossing it out there. So, all right, so we'll get into this right around 6:20. Let's do it around 6:20, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it from whatever perspective you have. Okay, real quick here. President Trump is basically declaring political war on the two most arguably truly conservative and constitutional members of Congress.
It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off.
He doesn't have anything to lose on it. He's endorsed an opponent to Thomas Massie, by the way, who has not even announced that he's running for Congress yet. The guy hasn't even started the campaign, and he gets Trump's endorsement. Trump just hates Thomas Massie.
Yes.
Thomas Massie, I don't agree with him on everything, but he is arguably one of, if not the most constitutional member of the House of Representatives now that Justin Amash is no longer in Congress.
Yeah, I actually looked into every metric that gives scores for this sort of thing, and Thomas Massie is consistently ranked among the top for anybody that's got a career spending as long as his in Congress.
Right, and then Trump also went after Rand Paul as well, just name calling and doing the social media thing. And here's Rand Paul responding to that on Meet the Press on NBC yesterday.
I think he's one of the best presidents, if not the best presidents of my lifetime. But it doesn't mean I will sit quietly and just say, oh, well, whatever you want to do. I was elected to have a voice.
Yeah, well, here's the thing is Senator Rand Paul is guided by the Constitution, not being told what to do by any administration, be it Biden, Trump, or anybody else.
Jamie Allman here for O'Fallon Family Floors. Experience the passion. Oh, yeah. You can go in and see the best variety, the best pricing, the best quality, the best personalized service right there off of Highway K in O'Fallon, or you can have the store come to you. Oh, yeah. Brian and his team take great pride in running a fantastic flooring outlet, and you can get their 5-star ratings right there on Google. Just check it out. It's O'Fallon Family Floors, O'FallonFamilyFloors.com.
If you're worried about losing your health insurance through Medicaid, we have great news for you. New government regulations have expanded the Affordable Care Act. And now you may qualify to get health insurance for you and your family through the Affordable Care Act. Call now to learn if you qualify. We know the healthcare regulations regarding Medicaid, and we've helped thousands of people find quality, affordable health insurance. Plus, all our research is free to you. So call us. With just one call, we'll shop from hundreds of different insurance companies to find you the right affordable health insurance plan. So if you're worried about losing your Medicaid insurance, call right now. Speak with a licensed agent and find how you may qualify for a new health insurance plan.
800-479-0931. 800-479-0931. 800-479-0931. That's 800-479-0931. Paid for by the Health Insurance Hotline.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump says Ukraine ought to surrender territory in order to end the war with Russia.
Even though Russia is the aggressor and despite his recent openness to helping Ukraine win, the president now says most of the contested Donbas region of Ukraine should go to Russia.
What I say is they should stop right now at the battle lines, go home, stop killing people, and be done.
At the current battle line, most of Donbas would be in Russian hands. The president plans to meet with Russia's Vladimir Putin in the coming weeks. Greg Clugston, Washington.
President Trump speculates that Hamas rebels may be responsible for the fatal shooting of 2 Israeli soldiers in Gaza, the attack prompting Israeli airstrikes. But now Israel says the tenuous Gaza ceasefire is back in force. Presidential envoy Steve Witkoff and presidential son-in-law Jared Kushner are in Israel this morning. They're looking to strengthen the ceasefire. Government shutdown now into its 20th day, and President Trump continues accusing Democrats of seeking to misuse health care subsidy.
We want to have great health care, so we'll do whatever we can do to have great health care. But the Democrats want to destroy all health care because they want to give $1.5 trillion of this money, and they want additional money to go to people that came into our country illegally.
Senate Democrats have repeatedly blocked a Republican stopgap funding bill that would end the shutdown. Amazon says things are slowly getting better after a major disruption impacting Amazon's cloud services. Outages hit numerous popular websites and apps worldwide, including Amazon.com. The Toronto Blue Jays' 6-2 defeat of the Seattle Mariners means there will be a decisive Game 7 in the American League Championship Series. Winner of tonight's showdown in Toronto will face the NL champion LA Dodgers in the World Series starting on Friday. On Wall Street, stock futures higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
We are truly living in a historic time. After 738 days, the 20 living Israeli hostages have been released from captivity, and those who were killed will finally rest in peace beneath Israel's soil. Praise God for that. Hi, it's Chris Stigall, and in this time of celebration, our good friends at the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews send their deepest gratitude for your prayers and unwavering support. You know, thanks to you, the fellowship has provided $300 million in emergency aid since October 7th. That includes millions in direct support for the hostages and their families. Of course, the road ahead is still a long one, and much needs to be done to restore and revive the people of Israel. That's exactly what the fellowship does. For example, they're assisting returned hostages along with their families and friends with immediate medical, psychological, and financial support. They're also providing mental health care for Israelis of all ages. If you'd like to help, visit ifcj.org. That's ifcj.org.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, Saturday's rain put a dent in the drought. Gotta love that. But we've slipped back into a dry pattern until our next chance of showers arrives on Friday. In the meantime, a little bit of a seesaw temperature pattern. 74 today under sunny skies. Winds turning breezy out of the south. Some gusts to 35 miles per hour. A couple of clouds this evening. That's a dry cold front moving through. Down to 50 early tomorrow. And then behind that front, cooler again. Tuesday, sunny and 67 with, again, gusty winds. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Are you searching for an excellent new vehicle or a great deal on a used one? Then check out Tyler Trineri, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Tim Jones here to tell you what loyal Tyler Trineri customers already know. Every new vehicle and select used ones come with an exclusive lifetime warranty. And Tyler Trineri has a service department second to none. I should know. I've been a loyal and happy customer for years. For the best price, selection, and the amazing lifetime warranty, check out Tyler Trineri today, right off Interstate 44 in beautiful Pacific, Missouri. Online at tylertrineri.com, tylertrineri.com.
Attention off-road enthusiasts. Iron Bear Customs has the strongest bumpers on the planet. Plus, brush guards, lift kits, and custom cages for all vehicles. Visit ironbearcustoms.com and mention News Talk STL for 10% off. Iron Bear Customs, built tough for the toughest terrain.
Discover Patriot Powder Coating, your family-owned specialist in Pacific. From small jobs to big projects, we got you covered. Visit our showroom or call 636-551-0377. Mention News Talk STL for 10% off.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Mike Ferguson.
When they say it like that, you know they mean business.
Gabe Phifer.
He has great hair.
Get up, St. Louis.
You're not talking to Bambi's baby brother here.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
How'd you get that line about the gray hair?
I had to show off my great hair.
All right. The plug may get pulled on a big EV manufacturing project in North City.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And St. Louis Public Schools get rid of another bus. And I mean, I shouldn't be laughing because it's really sad, but at some point it's like, it's such a disaster. It's all you can do at this point. And the Illini are back in the top 25. We'll tell you where and how that compares to Mizzou's latest rankings. 6:06 right now. Let's dump some news on you.
The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks, the Morning News Dump.
Okay, and we're going to get to the No Kings stuff, particularly around here in St. Louis around 6:20 or so.
All right, cool.
So we're going to do that. All right, that EV battery factory project in North City may not happen after all.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, here's what's going on. According to the St. Louis Business Journal and Missouri Net, the Trump administration announced that it is blocking a $197 million federal grant to support ICL Specialty Products. That company builds batteries for EV vehicles, or that's what the factory is supposed to do. The company is planning to build a $500 million factory that they say would employ over 150 workers, and the grant was originally awarded by the Biden administration. I remember us talking about that a few years ago on this, saying, well, there's a waste, all part of the Green New Scam kind of stuff. And this is one of the items that the Trump administration is blocking and trying to claw back the money.
Okay, good. All right. So originally when we were talking about this last time, I forgot about the federal grant. I was like, oh, there's a new thing coming. That's nice.
Yeah.
You know, the area could definitely use some jobs.
It's in a very rough area.
But then hearing that, basically half of the money would be coming from the federal government. It's like, no, we don't need that.
Yeah.
We do not.
Yep. So that's where it's at right now. We'll see what the end result is on that. Okay. The union representing Boeing's currently not working employees has, I can't say workers because they ain't working.
No, they're not working.
The unions filed a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board saying the company is not negotiating in good faith. Okay, so the complaint from the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers.
Wow.
That complaint is in reaction to the company's statement that the most recent offer is firm and that the economics will not change. A Boeing statement in response calls the move a stunt and says there is nothing unfair about an offer that includes an average of 45% wage increases in addition to a bunch of other benefits increases.
Yeah, it's incomprehensible to me that they're fighting Boeing on this so hard, as though it's basically a slap in the face. The way the union is behaving right now, it's as though Boeing offered them below replacement wages versus inflation. Like that's not what happened.
Not even close.
There is no private sector worker who would refuse that offer.
Yeah. So basically what it looks like to me is the union realizes they're losing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. Americans say they are increasingly concerned about their ability to find a good job.
Really?
Yeah. Now, this is according to an AP NORC Center for Public Affairs research poll. Reporter Bernie Bennett's got the details on the numbers.
High prices for groceries, housing, and healthcare persist as a fear for many households, while rising electricity bills and the cost of gas at the pump are also sources of anxiety, according to the survey. Some 47% of U.S. adults are, quote, not very or not at all confident that they could find a good job if they wanted to, an increase from 37% when the question was last asked in October of 2023. Electricity bills are a major source of stress for 36% of U.S. adults. Just more than one half said the cost of groceries are a major source of financial stress, and about 4 in 10 said the cost of housing and health care were a serious strain. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Well, groceries are going up and electricity. It's going up. There's no question about that. But it's interesting how many people say, I don't think I can find a good job right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Now on one level, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on with the economy? And on the other, I'm like, wait a minute, what do these people think a good job is? because I've seen what some people think of as a good job, and it's basically some cushy deal they saw on TikTok where you go in at 10 o'clock, you get a free latte, and you chill in the room with the beanbag chairs for a few hours. You know what I mean? Like that's what a lot of people are thinking are good jobs, and those don't exist.
No, I know. So it's like a 3 saying 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, six-figure income.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
but to be fair, I mean the other thing, and things are only going to get more expensive in the coming year.
That's true.
I mean,
in terms of the cost of living, yes, absolutely. That's definitely a concern, and your ability to find a job to actually support a living, where you can live independently. Yes, that's definitely, I think, something that's kind of upside down.
And we are seeing a restructuring of the economy. AI is moving the information economy in whole different ways. It's part of the creative destruction, to use an economic term.
Yep.
And we're in the very beginning of it right now.
Yeah, we're kind of in the thick of it.
Yep. All right. Here's a news flash. St. Louis Public School District is still a mess.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Oh, geez. At the end of last week, and this was one of those late Friday things, Friday afternoon things.
Oh, yeah.
The school board fired Superintendent Millicent Borishade. She was the third person to be the superintendent in the district over the last 3 years.
Oh, my gosh.
The board has not disclosed the reason for the termination. The interim, so get this. The interim chief of the district's human resources, her name is Myra Berry, the interim human resources chief is now picked to be the interim superintendent while the search for a replacement takes place.
I couldn't imagine being brought in as an interim job and then being shifted over to another interim job, as though I was like, how did I, the new guy, come in as the most qualified to take over? Like, there's something deeply wrong with this organization.
Can you imagine getting a call from a recruiter saying, "Hey, we've got a really good job for you. It's in education in your field." Yeah, where? St. Louis City. Nope.
Yeah,
kind of like those Muppets puppets or the no, and just float away. Okay. 2 universities are rejecting the Trump administration's higher education funding deal that they're calling a compact.
The White House recently sent a letter to 9 universities asking them to commit to Trump administration policies on gender and race in exchange for priority access to funding. MIT leadership said the proposal would limit free speech and campus independence. Similar concerns were cited in rejections from Brown University, the University of Pennsylvania, and the University of Southern California. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Okay, so this is interesting, is that generally speaking in academia, even the very few conservatives out there are saying defunding when you're violating Title IX for all that stuff. Absolutely. But you've got even some conservatives saying this whole compact thing, they're raising some red flags saying, do we really want a new administration to micromanage every university out there? Now, I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but I think it's interesting that even some conservatives, Robbie George and some of the others are going, whoa. Funding is one thing, not paying for garbage is one thing, but voluntarily entering into
agreements. Yeah.
And Wash U is being hit with this too. And of course, Wash U brought it on themselves.
Absolutely.
But so the funding thing is one thing. It's going to be, I want to see more of this to see whether I think it's a good approach or bad approach. I think what the Trump administration is trying to get for an outcome is a very good thing.
Very, very laudable.
Because they're long overdue.
Because they're trying to prevent the type of ideological drift into madness that we saw happen in the first place. Basically, they're trying to slam the door shut on the back end of them. Okay, they're going to go back on their word. I get that. I'm not sure the compact thing is the way to do it. Or if it's opening a can of worms by allowing the federal government basically to write whatever sort of agreements they get to have with universities, because that means President Gavin Newsom gets to write a compact
for everybody else.
For everybody else coming in. You know what I mean? So I'm watching the weapon creation here, and I'm trying to be very careful.
Ends and means both matter.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Another Friday, take out the trash news story.
Okay. Just dumped it in.
Former Congressman George Santos out of jail.
George Santos. Wait. Let me remind myself. Okay. George Santos is the weirdo guy who basically lied on his resume to get into office in New York, like a contested New York district that he won for the red guys, right?
Yep.
Which is a big deal. But then we found out about him and we were like, nah, he's gone.
Yeah. He's also, had multiple aliases, including drag names and all that kind of stuff. and also
credit card fraud.
Credit card fraud
for some of his donors,
campaign.
basically.
Yep, identity theft. You name it.
Just all the things, all the bad things.
President Trump commuted a sentence.
Oh no! Why did he do that?
Santos was on Fox and Friends weekend expressing his gratitude.
I've made some poor choices in my life, but nothing would warrant a insane, arbitrary sentence. But on top of that, a sentence that no one else would have gotten, a treatment that no one else would have gotten.
Crying out loud!
Oh wait,
really?
What was his sentence?
His sentence was 7 years, and he served 41 days. And he pled guilty.
Yeah. I don't know. When you steal identities, that's when you start getting into that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see some double-digit years depending on how bad it gets. So
yeah, you're talking about, and also politicians abusing their position.
Absolutely, I think they should be held to a higher standard, and they should get harsher treatment because of it.
And Republicans threw him out when they couldn't afford to lose the vote.
Yeah.
Okay, Republicans threw him out when they could not afford to lose.
It was a very principled move that happened there, and I want everybody. I'm going to take all the credit for that. Basically, as Republicans on our side, is like holding ourselves accountable by getting rid of the dead weight weirdos over here, and that was an important time. That was an important thing to be shown that even though we couldn't afford to lose that vote, we got rid of him because he was such a crazy.
I don't know what the president's thinking on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why he commuted this.
I mean, does it change my life? No, but
it's weird. It feels weird to me.
It was 7 years. He was going to be out in 3
Like
anyway.
what presidential aide got a favor out of this?
Really?
That's what I'm asking.
Both Mizzou and the Illini are in the top 25 in the latest football polls, coming off their double overtime win over Auburn. The Tigers are now ranked 15th in the AP poll, 14th in the coaches poll. Illinois is back in the top 25. They are at number 23 in both polls.
Okay.
One steep part, no destination. Making cold mind to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Our country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by idiots.
On News Talk STL.
Before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area. And I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way. And right now, it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois. So no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
Hey, Colombo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link, owner of the Dental Link. You've heard ads about teeth in a day, but did you know that you will be chewing on plastic, acrylic teeth? Here at the Dental Link, we can give you porcelain crown and bridge teeth utilizing mini dental implants that function much more like real teeth at about half the cost. Plus, mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Give us a call at 314-794-6464 or simply visit us today at thedentallink.com.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Saw them do this song at the Diamond Music Hall.
Ooh,
nice. Was it? I can't remember if that was earlier this spring or last fall. I don't know. I've seen so many shows out there. I don't even know. But
Diamond Music Hall is a really great venue.
yeah, I hate to be losing it.
Yeah. Wait, we're losing it?
Yeah, they're moving to. I mean, we're not losing them from the area, but they're moving to Warrenton in January.
Oh gosh, they're moving way out there.
So what's Diamond Music Hall now is going to become something else. Somebody else is getting it, but the actual Diamond Music Hall, they're gonna apparently it's gonna have a great setup. I don't know. But yeah, their last day, they're having a big blowout party on New Year's Eve. And then they're moving to Warrenton, which is still obviously part of our area.
But sure, but that's a long drive.
That's a longer drive.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. All right, okay. No Kings. There's what's happened. Then there's what both sides are trying to write the story of what happened here as well. 620 right now. 314-912-1019. If you saw any of this around the St. Louis area, I mean, the rain was pretty rough on them, but they still had a pretty good. I mean, numerically, they had a pretty good turnout. You just got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I didn't really see the St. Louis one on because they were making a big deal about the New York and Washington D.C. ones. But yeah, from what I could tell, it was successful, I guess, in that they had a lot of numbers and they didn't destroy anything.
Yes,
which is very, very laudable. I golf clap for you for not being terrible. Citizens for a second, but I guess technically they were successful in their aim because America
still talking about
has no kings.
That's right. We don't have any kings. It's true. We don't.
Yeah. They won. That's a W.
So
I guess
this was pretty big around the country. From what I can tell. Now, not as big as MSNBC would have you believe.
Oh, of course.
Did you see what happened with them?
Oh gosh, yes.
That was. I mean, they pulled that off their website. Since then, they got called out so hard on that.
They had to.
But it is bigger than what Republican social media influencers claim as well.
Yeah.
I saw some claims that said it was just in the hundreds of thousands around the country. No, it was bigger.
No, it was definitely millions.
It was definitely in the millions. So
nationwide anyway.
Yeah. So you got that, but that's what happens now. It's funny in this onslaught of we've got so much information thrown at us. It's probably easier to confuse people on stuff. So it wasn't as big as the far left says. It wasn't as small as what the far right. You for the most part. Now there were some violent things here and there.
Yeah, little pockets of
it. But for the most part,
given the percentage, that's pretty good.
It was a peaceful series of demonstrations.
Again, golf clap.
Yeah,
good job.
I am still not completely figured out. I mean, they don't like Donald Trump. Okay.
Yeah. The purpose of it.
There was only one or two things. I'm like, okay, they can articulate that.
There was some immigration stuff, right?
They can articulate that they are pro illegal immigration.
Right. They were a little quieter about Palestine.
Well, I didn't hear much of them saying much anything.
That's what I mean. It's like they kind of shut up about that one. They don't want to talk about peace deals.
Okay. KMOV's Haley Kirby covered the story here in St. Louis. And she just basically stuck microphones in people's faces.
Oh, fun!
On both sides of the rivers, and here are some of the responses that she got.
What's a little rain when democracy is at stake? On the Tam Avenue Bridge overlooking 64. Despite less than ideal conditions, hundreds showed up to voice their concerns.
No matter how you voted, we want you to think about where the country's going, and might you want to think about things differently?
It's just one demonstration happening in St. Louis for the second No Kings Day of Action, a national protest against President Donald Trump and his administration. Down the road in downtown St. Louis, another gathering of protesters.
But to me, No Kings means that we as a people have rights, and we fought for those rights, and we're not going to let them go away.
And over in Belleville, Illinois, yet another demonstration.
We are trying to show we want to protect our country and we want to keep it free. The impression that we are getting is that that's what he wants to be, is a king, and it's his way or no way. And I'm sorry, our forefathers fought too hard for this country to let that happen.
How dare they assume the gender? Sorry. All right. Sorry.
Are we like fall for rights and stuff? Yeah. No, it sounds about what I imagine is basically sort of a general mishmash of orange man bad rhetoric. And I mean, look, the thing that always, kind of, I don't know, grinds my gears. I'm trying to look for a new phrase these days. The thing that always grinds my gears about these sort of protests, it's always talking about the loss of our democracy.
Right.
Our democracy. Maybe it's a bugaboo. Maybe I'm just being a little, I don't know, history Nazi about it. But we're a republic. We're a republic. A republic is very different than a democracy. A democracy is, okay, all of these crazies get together and they can take the rights away from, some smaller
Two
group
wolves and a sheep voting on what to have for dinner.
Exactly. That like democracy, it would be a terrible idea. Maybe I have a particular aversion to it because I am a minority. So a majority of some group of people could decide that the minority group of people don't have rights anymore.
That would never happen in this country, Gabe.
Well,
oh
yeah. So rights, as they are enumerated in the Constitution, are protected by the republic status of America. The republic is what guards rights against the whims of a tyrannical majority. So, it's always silly to me. It's always weird. It's always disheartening that people keep talking about the loss of our democracy.
Are you implying that the people that framed the Constitution as a Republican government that it specifically warned against becoming a democracy?
Yeah.
Might have had a reason for that?
Yeah.
They understood what people are like?
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of talk about one of these rallies in the Chicago area. There was one speaker, and I know there were several in Chicago, just like there were several here. And I don't know which one this guy was at. And I actually had to really hunt down to make sure that I confirmed that this guy really did say this on Saturday.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
I think I saw this.
Okay.
Now I heard it was suburban Chicago.
Yes. It was one of the Chicago ones.
Okay.
I just don't know which one. And here's part of what he had to say.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out.
And there's big applause when he said that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seen reports of his name, but I have not been able to confirm it. So I'm not going to say it because I don't have it confirmed. The Illinois Review posted that audio, and they are reporting that the speaker is an employee of Wilbur Wright College.
Oh, geez.
But I have not confirmed his. I haven't confirmed his name. I've seen it reported. I just can't say that. I haven't seen it reported in a way that I would think that that's confirmed at this point.
The next time I want to see his name confirmed is in an arrest report. That's what I want to see.
That is not. That's not First Amendment protected free speech.
It is not. That is very specifically a call to violence against a specific class of people. That's textbook, not free speech. That's textbook call to violence.
Right. Exactly. So that's now, libs of TikTok have now picked up on this. Illinois Review was the first place I saw it. And so I followed their reporting, and the multiple reports say I don't know what he does at that college. It just said employee. I don't know if that means teacher. I don't know if that means administrator. I don't know if that means guy who cuts the lawn. I don't know what that means.
It's just a matter of time before the internet autists find basically everything about him through, internet enema. He's going to get found out. And people are going to have his address. And if the police do not act in Illinois, there's a major problem.
There's a major problem.
Yeah.
I'll be really honest. I will be surprised if there are any consequences for him calling for the large, wide-scale murder of federal law enforcement.
Yeah, because that's what he did.
Yeah, that's precisely what he did.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was interesting with the No Kings thing. There were all sorts of organizations involved with it. Some of the usual suspects, your labor unions and left-wing, groups, that sort of thing. But they were arm in arm with Communist Party USA.
Oh, of course.
With, so when they tell you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, for real.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
That this is not any sort of like centrist, moderate, coalition building thing. This is the far left that's out there. And I've got more of that audio that I'll play later on, because the first part of it, I was watching that report from KMOV, and I'm like, oh yeah, a bunch of older white lady, a bunch of older leftist white women. But then they got a few other people in there that I'll play the rest of.
They got them in the mix,
later. But yeah, and other than immigration, there was one woman who also listed a couple specific things.
Okay,
but she listed it, and I'm like, but the Democrats are the ones that did that.
She listed Democrat efforts.
She listed a couple things. She's like,
right.
they're messing with my Social Security. Well, nobody's messing with your Social Security.
Yeah.
Although there has been some talk of we need to raise the retirement age.
Yeah.
But then there was another saying, and they're denying benefits to veterans. Well, Democrats are doing that.
Yeah, that's
a Democrat thing. They're the ones who did that. And we're going to talk about, of course, the shutdown here coming up as well.
Now, while leftists shut down the streets, Congress keeps the government shut down going. So when we look long term, how should conservatives look at that situation? Let's dig into that at 6:35.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
You are a bully?
On NewsTalk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
A man trampled a memorial for Charlie Kirk.
If you have differences, let's engage in dialogue.
I'm just going to be an independent voice.
101.9 and 94.1 NewsTalk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, Saturday's rain put a dent in the drought. Gotta love that. But we've slipped back into a dry pattern until our next chance of showers arrives on Friday. In the meantime, a little bit of a seesaw temperature pattern. 74 today under sunny skies. Winds turning breezy out of the south. Some gusts to 35 miles per hour. A couple of clouds this evening. That's a dry cold front moving through. Down to 50 early tomorrow. And then behind that front, cooler again. Tuesday, sunny and 67 with, again, gusty winds. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Hey, folks, Jamie Allman here for Newstedter's Fine Jewelry right there at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend. WowDiamonds.com. It's Wow Diamonds for a reason. These are beautiful lab-grown diamonds. They are gorgeous. They will blind you when you walk in and see them, but that's a good thing. Great engagement sets, wedding sets, all these beautiful God-created gems, sapphires, rubies, you name it, garnets, and also all the gold you need, and the famous Bull of a Watch, WowDiamonds.com.
Hi, Chris Arps here. Join me and the team at Royal Banks of Missouri for their annual Economic Forecast Breakfast. The event takes place on Tuesday, November 18th at the factory in the district of the Chesterfield Valley. You'll hear from their experts and get a better understanding of what to expect from the U.S. economy in 2026 and beyond. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. and the program starts at 8 a.m. Attendance is free, but you do need to reserve a spot. You can RSVP by calling 314-212-1595. That's Royal Banks of Missouri.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
So the irony marches, because we have a king, you wouldn't be allowed to have protests, right? We'll see what Rob Bluey has to say about that to kick us off Monday at 9:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on NewsTalk STL.
Good morning, Missouri. It's your boy, Joe Pags. I'll talk to you tonight at 10. But right now, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right. So far, guys, my guess is that most people are still not feeling any difference in their lives when it comes to parts of the federal government being shut down. But still, some are feeling an impact. There's no doubt about that. Here's the bigger question right now. And we're going to talk to Congressman Bob Onder about this in about an hour or so. What's a conservative to make of all the nonsense in Washington at this point? Eventually, we're going to feel some kind of something from it. But my guess is that most people haven't had anything in their daily life disrupted yet.
I think you're right.
Yeah, on that. All right, 6:33 right now. We're now joined by Gerard Scimeca from Consumer Action for a Strong Economy, I guess for short, known as CASE. Gerard, thanks for being on the program here. So one of the things that you wrote and that your team sent me, I thought was an interesting framing of this. You said a shutdown doesn't shrink government, it paralyzes it. Pick up from that. What do you mean by that? Because I want to see government shrunk. And one of my arguments that I've been making, Gabe and I have half jokingly been said, hey, can we please have a government shutdown? You know, we want one for Christmas. We got one early. Because the longer it goes, the more people realize that we don't need this much of the federal government, but we're still paying for it. So from a conservative perspective, I'm like, hey, bring it on. But when you say a shutdown doesn't shrink government, it paralyzes it. Where does that go from there? What do you mean by that?
Well, Mike, thank you for having me. And we've written quite a bit about the shutdown so far. So I might have a little bit of a recollection issue on that particular phrase, but those things are not mutually exclusive at all. And we'd actually agree that the shutdown is actually helping shrink government, and that it is doing a good job in reminding people that under Obama and Biden, government expanded, tremendously, not just the spending, but I mean, the State Department had 40,000 employees when Obama took office. By the time President Trump took over, this time there was over 70,000. And Marco Rubio had dismissed a couple of thousand, and there was a lot of squawking and court cases over that. I mean, there's still an enormous number of number of government workers, and they will not be missed. So we do think that it's a needless shutdown, obviously, because the president is delivering exactly what the voters asked for, what the majority of Americans wanted, and so we just think the Democrats are ignoring the lesson from their hero, President Obama, in 2009, when he said elections have consequences.
Good morning, Gerard. Gabe Phifer here. So what sort of opportunity do shutdowns provide for maybe reducing the size of the workforce? I've heard some rumblings about the Trump administration possibly taking advantage of this to enact some layoffs.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're looking at the Department of Education. That whole canard could disappear tomorrow and just be just a series of grants to states for various education, secondary and higher ed objectives that the states put forward, almost like any other grant program or Pell Grant program. That's a totally unnecessary department. And again, the State Department. I mean, how many more countries are there since Obama took over? I don't really think there that many more. Maybe the same number. So why is the State Department doubled? And we've seen this throughout everything, through U.S. aid, through all of the alphabet agencies that people have never heard of before, that lack accountability and really have control over the economy and a lot of the government policy too. You referred to as the deep state. A lot of the career bureaucrats were the ones that were undermining President Trump 45 agenda.
We're visiting with Gerard Scimeca from Consumer Action for a Strong Economy, or CASE, which, by the way, we've linked to on our social media here as well. Okay, so I'm a conservative guy. I'm a free markets guy. How does a government shutdown affect the marketplace, and what kind of impacts, what kind of effects could this have, either from a ripple effect inside the marketplace itself? There's not a lot of confidence in federal government, generally speaking, but how can this bleed over into the marketplace? Because to me, the smaller the government, the freer the market.
Yeah, and I think that for the markets themselves, they don't like instability. They get nervous when things are, out of whack, or even though whatever changes, we've seen this time and again, it's temporary. There'll be some temporary pain for some areas. I mean, things like the airport security, air traffic controllers, some infrastructure type situations with law enforcement that might, cause things like delays or possible shutdowns, or reduced access to government buildings or government programs, things like parks. But really, these are small sacrifices, and again, they're temporary. Some small businesses that have government contracts to, produce or provide certain supplies for things, they may be interrupted. And I'm based out in Missouri myself, so I escaped the Beltway a long time ago. And the further you get away from Washington, the less of the effect of the shutdown and the spending problems impact you. But there is going to be some, and again, those will be temporary. The markets themselves, and I think that people who do have those government contracts, will be made whole at some point. But, for the time being, it is tough for a lot of people. You never want to skip a paycheck. That always creates a little bit of belt tightening.
Do you think that when we finally do kind of come out of the shutdown mode and actually start negotiating on the economy, if we're going to get the significant cuts that we're all hoping for, I think, on the right?
I think that at some point there has to be they'll have to come to the table. You have there's 3 Democrats now who are siding with Republicans to, really it's a debate. It's a filibuster where you put the question on the table, and they are, you have Fetterman and Angus King, which I think is a independent out of Maine, and the senator out of New Mexico. So we need a couple of more that were just willing to end debate on it so it can be put to a vote. What the Democrats want is just absolutely ridiculous. It's exactly, we wrote about if all they want is to be declared the winners of the 2024 election and just have all the things that President Biden had in his budget restored. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And most of it is based on Obamacare, just the lies and the costs. They want those subsidies back in, and really only affects, honestly, 20 million people roughly are the recipients of these extra subsidies. Obamacare is not supposed to provide subsidies to people who make over 400% of the poverty level. Well, the Democrats have extended that way beyond 400% of the poverty level. And honestly, those are the group of the constituency that they are really holding up the whole government for. On top of it, they want money restored to USAID, PBS, NPR. Again, all the things that the Republicans cut in the big beautiful bill and in the rescission package. So I don't think that we really have any. It's not like there's anything reasonable they're asking for. So hopefully we do stand firm and we get a budget that looks exactly like what the House passed.
Okay, so Gerard, if the Republicans do hold their ground, if they do, hold on to the backbone that they seem to have found, at least for the moment, what would be the smart path from at least a conservative's perspective, a smart conservative path to a more fiscally responsible, fiscally restrained government amid all of this chaos? Can we get from where we are now to a better place through the chaos?
Well, it really comes down to, who wins these elections. If the Republicans can hold the House and the Senate through the midterms, and again, a lot of this is posturing for the midterms on the part of the Democrats. But I think that we can get a budget or a long-term budgetary plan that is, indexed to inflation. And it's ridiculous to think that with all the deficits that we have, if we had just there have been budgets proposed in the past that have said if we increase government spending, 1 to 2% and index it to inflation, within 7 to 11 years, we'd have a balanced budget, which is still a tremendous amount of spending. But our economy grows, and that's what Democrats realize, is that we just have a tremendous cash flow. We are a cash cow. As soon as it comes in, they want to spend it. But getting us to something where we whenever they say something costs, 1.5 trillion is what the Democrats want to spend on top of the current bill. But when you start adding the interest payments to that, it's going to be it's more over 2 trillion. So those are the problems too. Is just the percentage of the budget right now that's just going to pay the debt is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's nearing 30%. I'd have to check that, but it's getting up to really unsustainable levels, as we all know. But some people seem to not be able to grasp that.
Okay, so Gerard, last minute or so that we've got here, if you've got the ear of the speaker, if you've got the ear of the Republicans in Congress, what do you tell them as far as what should be the next step? I mean, obviously right now we've got the shutdown that's ongoing. I think the media pressure is going to just ramp up, and it's not going to favor the Republicans, even though I think the Republicans are doing the right thing. So what do you tell them as far as the next step in holding the line and trying to not just stop all these re-additions to all that spending, but to take the country in a better direction when it comes to the federal government's taxing and spending?
Sure. And there have been different polls out there, by the way. One of the more reliable ones is Harvard-Harris, and that puts by 2-1 and puts it at the feet of the Democrats for holding up the government. Then 2-1, they want the Democrats to cash in their chips and get with the program. But I think what Doge was doing earlier was fantastic. That needs to be a very permanent part of the government, where they're constantly seeking out waste and things that the federal government shouldn't be doing, which is most of what it's doing right now. Also, halting hiring and let attrition and retirements take effect. They need to get staffing levels down. Also, a great idea too is moving parts of Washington out of Washington, putting maybe departments in different cities and spreading it out, so you don't have that concentration of power in just one area. So hopefully the winds will start shifting towards a more reduced, efficient government. The president has done an excellent job of really just sort of punching a hole in the wall and getting the attention of everybody, as well as showing that this spending isn't necessary and it's actually hurting us. So we're totally in sync with you that this needs to not be just a one-time effort, but we're just really just getting the ball rolling on cutting back the size of the government.
Okay, and we learn more about what you're doing with your organization, how and where. We've already tagged you on social media, but what's the website or blog or anything like that?
We are caseforconsumers.org, all spelled out, caseforconsumers.org. And on X, we are case_for_America.
All right, Gerard, appreciate you chiming in on this.
Thanks, Gerard.
Sure, thank you.
All right.
Hey, guys, we've got some really big changes coming to the morning show. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal, yeah.
And we'll spill the tea on that tomorrow at 7:05. Be sure to make an appointment.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
Hey, folks, the Clayton Sleep Institute and my friend Dr. Ojal back supporting free common sense conservative radio. ClaytonSleep.com, treating the full range of adult and pediatric sleep disorders from sleep apnea to insomnia, restless leg syndrome, periodic limb movement, and narcolepsy. What an awesome place. New comfy setting for the sleep lab. ClaytonSleep.com, 314-645-5855. Better sleep, better life.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, Chris Arp from the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show. Make sure that you're listening to our show this afternoon from 4 to 6. Now back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
All right, looks like the plug might get pulled on a big electric vehicle manufacturing project in North City. Not even just the electric vehicles, but the batteries that go into electric vehicles.
We need one of those sound effects of a machine shutting down when you pull the plug.
Yeah, that might be happening in North City.
Happening.
So there is part of this that's actually really kind of a bummer, but I get it overall. By the way, I saw another Tesla truck this weekend.
Oh, that Cybertruck?
Yeah, the Cybertruck. Yeah, Cybertruck. Yeah. It was black. I had never seen a black one before. I'd only seen like the gray silver metallic ones.
Yeah.
So they really branched out, and there's one that's black.
Now, was it a shiny black or a matte black?
It was like a matte black.
Matte black can make even mediocre looking vehicles look kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a better looking dumpster, but it was still looked like a dumpster.
Wait until you see the camo ones.
Oh, I have not seen a camo one.
They look so cool.
There was one that they painted to look similar to the Jeep from Halo, which is a kind of a futuristic shooter game. And that I would take that one. but barring that, and now of course, this one actually had a 30 millimeter rotary cannon mounted on the back. So
this one did not.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was funny.
You have to add guns to make it cool.
Because I pulled up next to it in the parking lot, and I said, Rachel said, "Well, we're going to be on somebody's camera." So
that's true.
Don't say anything too bad because it's going to be on camera.
All those Teslas have active cameras while they're just sitting there, so be careful.
Which, by the way, have you noticed we don't hate those anymore, and they're not getting trashed anywhere now that now that Elon Musk is not working in the Trump administration.
I noticed
anymore.
that
Suddenly they're not Nazi vehicles anymore.
Suddenly we're not getting the firebombing.
Yeah,
it's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Also coming up here, St. Louis Public Schools get rid of another boss, and the Illini back in the top 25. It is 6:50. Let's dump some news on you here.
The morning news dump. Are you joking? Is this a joke? Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
Okay, so the EV battery factory project in North City is still on to happen, but a big part of the funding is not going to happen. So we'll see whether it happens at all. According to the St. Louis Business Journal and Missouri Net, the Trump administration announced that it's blocking a $197 million federal grant to support the ICL Specialty Products Project. The company is planning to build a $500 million factory that they say would employ over 150 workers. The grant was awarded by the Biden administration as part of the whole green energy stuff
debacle
that they were doing. Yeah, exactly.
Rift.
So if this gets pulled, and it looks like it's definitely getting pulled, whether or not you can lose $200 million out of a $500 million project and still move forward remains to be seen. Now, the bummer here, and it's not even so much about the 150 workers, because in the big scope of things, 150 well-paying jobs is a good thing.
Yeah.
But this was going to go into North City, as in like a rough area of North City.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It actually could have been a revitalization thing, but still $200 million to prop up something that the market doesn't want is just not what government's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and here's the other aspect of it. Whenever the government gets involved in these things, and we saw this particularly during the Obama administration with things like Solyndra and those type of things.
Right.
They'll get this massive federal grant. They'll live on that for a good 3 years or so, and then they're closing up shop.
Yep.
I would argue that a temporary business, a temporary attempt at revitalizing that area that eventually crashes and burns would do more harm than good.
If you don't stabilize the neighborhood and have far more culturally sustaining things, you can put whatever fancy thing you want in there, but that's only temporary.
There's also that.
All right. Americans say they are increasingly concerned about their ability to find a good job. Yeah, this is interesting. And this is according to a poll from the AP and NORC's Center for Public Affairs Research. Bernie Bennett has the story from Town Hall.
High prices for groceries, housing, and healthcare persist as a fear for many households, while rising electricity bills and the cost of gas at the pump are also sources of anxiety, according to the survey. Some 47% of U.S. adults are, quote, not very or not at all confident that they could find a good job if they wanted to, an increase from 37% when the question was last asked in October of 2023. Electricity bills are a major source of stress for 36% of U.S. adults. Just more than 1/2 said the cost of groceries are a major source of financial stress, and about 4 in 10 said the cost of housing and health care were a serious strain. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that costs are going up, and they are going to keep going up, just so you know.
They never come down. The real changes that usually come that you feel it is when wages start catching up,
right?
And that's when the economy is structured properly, the wages are going to catch up and be able to overtake whatever the price increases that have been accumulated over time.
And we're not there right now.
We're definitely not there. Well, there was a very vertical angle there to the inflation line for a long time. It's going to take a long time for wages to catch up, even in a good economy.
I saw a report last week that said Missouri has like 137,000 open jobs right now.
Yes.
But what jobs are they? So it's not so much the number of people looking for jobs versus the jobs. Where are they and do they match? that sort of thing.
Yeah, that matching part, I think,
Yeah.
is even a bigger one because I think a lot of those jobs are going to be in the blue collar sector.
Yep.
Because I sure know about the long wait I had to actually get an appointment at my mechanic.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
And I know the owner. He's like, I can't keep people. They keep just walking away because they got opportunities anywhere. They know they're really needed. If there aren't mechanics out there to fill those jobs, they're just going to stay open.
Trades are where it's at, man.
Trades are where it's at.
That's where it's at. All right. Got some breaking news for you. The St. Louis Public School District is a mess.
Oh, still?
Yeah, imagine that. All right. At the end of last week, the school board fired Superintendent Millicent Borishade. She was the third person to lead the district over the last 3 years. Good God. All right.
3 and 3 years.
3 and 3 years. And now they don't have one.
I know of a superintendent who retired having been a superintendent for like 15 years.
Yeah, that's like what's supposed to be the normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The board has not disclosed the reason for the termination. The interim chief of the district's human resources has been picked to be the interim superintendent while the search for a replacement takes place.
That is wild. That is wild. You're brought in as an interim, and then you're elevated to a different interim position. You're the new guy, and you need to fix it.
Yeah, gal in this case.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it's just such a disaster. If there is a better example of why we need school choice, particularly in impoverished areas, I don't know what better case you can make for school choice than this.
Yes,
without a doubt. Let's see here. Government shutdown, dueling sound bites, shall we?
Oh,
guys, what do you think? Should we do it?
All right. Do we have to get on this thing?
Yeah, because the government's still shut down. So let's go ahead and do that.
So we have to go to the carnival. We got to get your idea proper about what we're dealing with here. We're on the merry-go-round.
All right. So from Fox News Live, this is Democratic Congressman from Massachusetts, Jake Auchincloss.
There's ongoing negotiations, but the president is the one who dominates the Republican Party. There's only one decision maker who matters. I think we're all pretty clear that Speaker Johnson's a sock puppet.
Okay. And in the Republican corner, it is Senator Tim Scott appearing on Sunday Night in America on Fox.
They are willing to sell out current constituents like women, infants, and children. For what? For illegal immigrants, their future voters. This is a power grab. They're willing to shut the government down so that they can earn and gain more power.
Okay, I did my thing.
Yeah, they said the thing. Now, there is no telling on the other side of this radio what date those sound bites were made, which is why it feels like we're just riding around on a weird merry-go-round at a carnival.
You know what's funny is when because I have to label all of these sound bites on the thing to play it, I just put the name of the person, shut down, and then I have to put the date in because they all sound the same.
They're all the
same ones.
They're all the same.
Yeah, so that's why I try to find other names in there because they're all going to say the same thing anyway. But you know what? This is a news show, and darn it, the shutdown's happening, and so I just covered it. Okay,
it's news. Now you know.
Now you know. All right. Game 7 is going to determine who faces the Dodgers in the World Series this week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this has been a
Janet's
roller coaster.
Very nail bitey.
She must have been really happy last night.
Sure was, though.
Yeah, the Blue Jays get a 6-2 win over the Brewers in Toronto last night to even up the American League Championship Series at 3 games each. The final game, the deciding game, is going to be on Channel 2 tonight. It starts at 7:08.
Toronto's won 3 in a row. Let's see if they can make it 4.
Yeah, exactly. They came back from they were down with 2 games to none or 3 games to none.
3 to none.
Yeah.
Or no, 2 to none.
2 to none. Yeah. And so football. Let's talk football here. Both Mizzou and the Illini are in the top 25 in the latest football polls, coming off of their win over Auburn, which was a double overtime win. The Tigers are now ranked 15th in the AP poll and 14th in the coaches poll. Illini returns to the top 25. They are number 23 in both polls. So Illinois should have a pretty good week coming up this weekend. Mizzou, I didn't look at the schedule, but I think it's Vanderbilt. I think they've got, which is a really tough one if I'm remembering that correctly. But Mizzou's got a tough schedule from here on out. That's the difference between SEC and Big Ten.
Now, the Free Market Minute, brought to you by the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
Hey, it's Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show. I am here with Dr. Grant Black. And Grant, entrepreneurship, it's one of those buzzwords we hear a lot about, but is entrepreneurship really important to the economy?
It definitely is. Entrepreneurship is a consistent contributor to economic growth. It creates new products and services that people value. It creates the new businesses that provide them. It fosters innovation that improves productivity, and it increases beneficial competition. It generates jobs, income, wealth mobility, and even tax revenues that all support and enhance communities. Entrepreneurship matters, so we need to help it thrive in all our communities.
The John W. Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University fosters and examines market-oriented approaches to economic and social issues. To learn more, visit hammondinstitute.org.
Why leave your company's story to chance? In today's digital world, video content isn't just an option. It's essential for your success. At Blue Ocean Media Group, we've spent decades crafting compelling visual stories for businesses just like yours. From concept to completion, our award-winning team transforms your vision into powerful video content that connects with your audience and drives results. Don't trust your brand to amateurs. Partner with Blue Ocean Media Group. Visit blueoceanmediagroup.com today, and let's bring your story to life.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. There is concern that another would-be assassin may have been plotting against President Trump.
The FBI has revealed it discovered a suspicious hunting stand in a tree in Palm Beach, Florida, with a direct line of sight to where Air Force One lands locally. The potential sniper position was spotted last Thursday as part of an extensive sweep and kept under watch, but the news wasn't announced until yesterday, with confirmation from FBI Director Patel. No individuals were found connected with it. When President Trump boarded the jet last night, he used small stairs due to what was called increased security measures. George Williams, Washington.
Despite a flare-up in deadly violence, 2 Israeli soldiers shot dead by Hamas gunmen in Gaza, and Israel responding with airstrikes. Israel is insisting that the fragile ceasefire is back on track. What will it take to end Russia's war in Ukraine? President Trump says Ukraine may have to swallow a bitter pill by surrendering parts of the Donbas region.
Let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia. You leave it the way it is right now. They can negotiate something later on down the line.
The president says he will slash U.S. aid and hit Colombia with punishing tariffs. Mr. Trump accuses Colombia's president of being a leader in the production and distribution of illegal drugs. In Paris, the search goes on for the thieves who broke into the Louvre, smashing display cases. They fled with priceless crown jewels. The whole thing was over in just 4 minutes, authorities say it was carried out by professionals. The Toronto Blue Jays' 6-2 defeat of the Seattle Mariners means there will be a decisive Game 7 in the American League Championship Series. Winner of tonight's showdown will face the NL champ Dodgers, World Series starting on Friday. Townhall.com.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
If you have an IRA or 401k, this is a message you really need to hear. In just the last 2 years, the price of 1 troy ounce of silver has more than doubled, and silver is now poised for major gains in the months ahead. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD to learn how to convert a portion of your retirement assets into physical silver and position yourself for the next wave of growth in precious metals. It's not too late to leverage the power of silver to help secure your financial future. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, Saturday's rain put a dent in the drought. Gotta love that. But we've slipped back into a dry pattern until our next chance of showers arrives on Friday. In the meantime, a little bit of a seesaw temperature pattern. 74 today under sunny skies. Winds turning breezy out of the south. Some gusts to 35 miles per hour. A couple of clouds this evening. That's a dry cold front moving through. Down to 50 early tomorrow. And then behind that front, cooler again. Tuesday, sunny and 67 with, again, gusty winds. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalkSTL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Mike Ferguson,
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Phifer,
I triple dog dare you!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This is your cousin.
All right, I got 2 words for you.
Yeah.
No kings.
No kings.
That's
no
right.
Kings.
All right. I'm not sure where that came from. That was all right. Let's talk about the fact that there's what's happened, and then there is both sides trying to rewrite the story of what happened.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in what actually happened in the truth. Okay. 7:06 right now. By the way, quick note. Gabe mentioned this a few minutes ago. We have got a change coming to the morning show here. Yeah. We are going to fill you in on what is happening. We're going to do that at this time tomorrow.
Right.
So 7:05 Tuesday, we'll tell you what changes coming to the morning show.
Are you finally living your best truth, Mike? Is that
something like that?
Or is it going to be Michelle Ferguson in the morning?
No. Well, we'll tell you Tuesday morning. Let's just put it there.
There is a transition, but it's not quite that.
It's not that. Right. Exactly. All right. Okay. So the No Kings thing, it was pretty big around the country. 314-912-1019.
Yeah.
If you happen to see any around the St. Louis area here, curious as to what you saw, you can send us a note or just give us a call or send us a voicemail through the app or whatever works for you. Now it was not as big as what MSNBC tried to tell us.
Oh gosh.
Did you see that thing with Boston?
They just
oh my goodness,
went back in time with their imagery to try and look. It's like, let's get the biggest crowd shot we can get.
Yeah. So they, the guy from MSNBC, whatever his name is, just gushing.
Oh yes.
Over, just how awesome it was. Millions of people in Boston
so incredible.
Showing this like airplane or helicopter footage. And the thing was that was a march from 2017. It wasn't Saturday. Now, I think the one in Boston was pretty big on Saturday.
Oh, it was definitely
but it wasn't
big.
that.
It wasn't that big.
And so MSNBC's actually had to pull that off of their website to do this. So
in embarrassment. You know it's bad if MSNBC got embarrassed by it.
Yeah, or if they just got hammered so bad because they got caught. You know. And then you've also got some, conservative Republican influencers claiming that, there was dismal turnout everywhere and these weren't very big. Well, that wasn't true either.
Right.
There were some of these that were really big.
When Democrats are caught lying about stuff, is it blue-handed? Are they being caught blue-handed? I mean, just occurred to me.
Why not? Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Okay, so pretty big around the country. But let's talk about St. Louis. There were, I don't know the exact number, but there were 10 to 12. If you look at both sides of the river, basically within the metro area,
like different locations where they were doing this.
Right. And so KMOV had Haley Kirby covering this. And her report, if you go to their social media, you go to their YouTube, the report's like 4.5 minutes long or something like that.
Right.
But I grabbed a couple clips from it. So she went around to a few of the No Kings protests and just asked people, okay, what's this mean to you? What are you protesting for? Here's a sample of what people said to her.
What's a little rain?
when democracy is at stake.
On the Tam Avenue Bridge overlooking 64. Despite less than ideal conditions, hundreds showed up to voice their concerns.
No matter how you voted, we want you to think about where the country is going. And might you want to think about things differently?
It's just one demonstration happening in St. Louis for the second No Kings Day of Action, a national protest against President Donald Trump and his administration. Down the road in downtown St. Louis, another gathering of protesters.
But to me, No Kings means that we as a people have rights, and we fought for those rights, and we're not going to let them go away.
And over in Belleville, Illinois, yet another demonstration.
We are trying to show we want to protect our country and we want to keep it free. The impression that we are getting is that that's what he wants to be, is a king, and it's his way or no way. And I'm sorry, our forefathers fought too hard for this country to let that happen.
Yeah, all that's dumb. I mean, honestly, it's like they started with we got to protect our democracy. We're not a democracy.
We're a republic.
We're a republic. There's a really big difference, and the reason is, silly people who get led astray can be rallied into big major groups, and we do not want the majority to be able to run roughshod over a minority just because they got riled up by somebody. And then of course there's the we have rights. And we got to protect those rights because they've been fought for. What rights? What rights have you been losing under the Trump administration? Like, honestly, look, we have called out on some instances where we think he is overstepping the bounds of executive authority.
And I think he is now on a few things too.
Yeah, and there's and the thing is, we've been dealing with that with all presidents since what? Who did we decide was the last one to actually follow the Constitution?
Probably Jefferson.
Jefferson. Yeah, exactly. So we've been dealing with presidents who've been overstepping their presidential authority constitutionally for a long time. So yes, we have to guard against that. No, they aren't trying to set themselves up as kings.
So Haley Kirby from Channel 4 KMOV got a few other comments from a few other folks as well here.
You can't control America. The use of ICE is a terrible thing.
Stop messing with my Social Security. Stop taking funds away from the veterans.
We vote for a president, and that he's supposed to be the representative of all the people. We don't have an authoritarian ruler who can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, well, there were none of these going on when, as it's been pointed out many times on social media, when it's been pointed out that, there were some Republicans who were authoritarian during COVID and did shutdowns. Mike Parson was in Missouri for about a half a minute. J.B. Pritzker has acted like a king more than anybody else. So but nobody's protesting him.
No, never. If the crown is blue, they're all about kneeling.
Yeah.
So look, I'm tired of this garbage. I am really tired of every time a somebody with an R next to their name gets in any sort of power, particularly in the presidency, all of a sudden everything is in danger. Oh my gosh, my rights. Oh my gosh, the world is collapsing. We're going to be heading into a world war. I remember when they were talking about Reagan that way.
Yeah.
It's like he's going to start a war and we're all going to die and the economy's going to be in the toilet. It was one of the best periods. The 80s.
Yes.
Thank you. We're Reagan's era, right? It's like it was one of the best periods in American history, frankly. But at the time they were talking about all kinds of craziness. Yeah. Remember during the actual height of the Trump economy, the I think one of the best
in the first term.
In the first term, 2019, I think it felt like pretty much the height, I think, of the economy under his administration. They were doing all they could.
The tax cuts had kicked in.
Yep. The rule that was removing all of the regulations, like if you're going to add a regulation, you have to remove two. Remember that thing?
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was kicking into gear. Minority business ownership went from stagnant to essentially like 150%. Over the period that he was in office.
Though part of that was from the opportunity zones.
And the opportunity zones plus the regulation removal, I think.
Oh yeah,
helped grease the wheels of all of that stuff. So and I remember people talking about that era as though it was terrible.
Right.
And I'm just like, that was great. You guys remember $2 gas?
Yeah.
You know, while wages were increasing, people were, so every Democrat complaint about, oh no, here come the Kings and this is the terrible, that it only ever shows up when there's a red in office. And it's always this disingenuous garbage that you hear, the rhetoric out on the street.
Now, give them credit where credit's due. For the most part, probably 98, 99%, they were peaceful around the country. There was something that happened in Portland. There were a couple things in Chicago, but for the most part, these were done the way you're supposed to do them. Have your say. I'm not, I still think that just taking over roads is not peaceful protest, but that was nonviolent. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Now, in my brain, I'm just hearing a Chris Rock routine where he's just like, "That's what you're supposed to do. You want a cookie?"
Right.
So,
exactly.
But
give credit where credit's due.
Golf clap for not destroying your town.
Now there
Good job.
there is one speaker that's making the rounds on social media, and it took me the better part of the morning to confirm. Okay, this is actually legit. This actually happened.
Yeah, this thing.
And this was from one of the Chicago No Kings protests. I don't know which one, but I do know it was in the Chicago area. And here's what the speaker had to say.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out.
Okay. I have not been able to confirm that speaker's name. I've seen it reported, but I haven't seen it reported to a point where I would call it confirmed. So I'm not going to say it. But the Illinois Review posted that audio, confirms that it was from one of the Chicago No Kings protests. And they say that employee, the Illinois Review, is reporting that speaker is an employee of Wilbur Wright College, which I guess is part of the Chicago colleges systems.
Yeah, and he should be an employee in the state making license plate at a prison.
Yeah.
No, I just want to point out, because earlier we got a comment saying he said stop. No,
no. Shot.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's the thing.
Let me play it again.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out.
Yeah. I don't know how. Yeah, that's pretty clear.
Let's say he didn't. Let's say he said stopped. Does that change the context of what he said? You got to turn the guns around. These people need to be stopped, and they need to be wiped out. There's no other way to interpret that discussion.
But one more time.
Get shot and wiped out.
He said shot.
Yeah, that's clear as day.
Yeah. So here's the thing. He needs to be in jail.
Yeah, that's not free speech.
That is not free. That when everybody talks about you can't yell fire. This is the thing we're actually talking about. That is not covered under free speech. Is specific calls to violent action.
Right.
That's exactly what that was. Right. Textbook definition. He should. It's almost like, do we need a trial? Well, yes, technically.
Well, yeah, we do.
Technically, we do. But we. You all heard it.
The evidence is right there. But the bottom line is that was the exception, not the rule.
True.
So
we'll give them credit for.
You know what? They exercised their First Amendment right. Yeah. They said a bunch of silly stuff and other things I don't even understand if they understand. I don't even know if they understand what they were arguing for or against. But you know what? That's the thing about the country. You can say whatever silly thing you want, and you get to do it, and they did it.
Definitely disturbed by the applause too, but that's a whole other story. But like Mike said a few minutes ago, we're about to have a major change to the morning show here on NewsTalkSTL. We'll have that discussion tomorrow at 7:05. Mark your calendars.
Information, you want to take the place of what I try.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Democrats produce mobs. Republicans produce jobs.
On Newstalk STL. Colombo and Company.
On Monday, we start the week with some changes in the weather, but what about the news? We'll get the latest from Ukraine and on the shutdown, plus Virginia Cruda, Paul Kurtman, and AI expert Mike McCleary.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
This December 13th, join wreaths across America at Belle Reve Gardens Cemetery as we remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. Help us lay remembrance wreaths on the graves of our fallen heroes. Sponsor a wreath, volunteer, or bring your family to this meaningful tribute to our veterans, because every hero deserves to be remembered. Learn more and sponsor a wreath. Visit NewsTalkSTL.com.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL, live and local.
Listen to what those local folks are telling you.
News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Susie Moore. Check out my show, Red State Radio, Sunday afternoon at 4, right here on News Talk STL. Now it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
You know, suddenly several blue state governors have discovered states' rights.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
they're kind of nibbling around the 10th Amendment.
Honestly, we should be concerned because the last time the Democrats were doing a whole states' rights things, it didn't work out very well. I'm just saying. It's like Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh my goodness. By the way, anybody got any good ghost stories? This is not what we're talking about right now, but I just want to throw this out there.
Yeah.
Okay, send them to me.
Yes.
You can also email them to me, maybe email them to Jerome. Just send them in. We will read some of the better ones closer to Halloween, maybe on Halloween.
There you go.
So you can actually send me a voicemail too. If you record a voicemail on your iPhone, I don't know if Androids have that feature or not, but if you record it, you can email your voicemail to me, or you can go to the app, the News Talk STL app, and there's a voice message part in their option as well. So if you've got a short ghost story that you experienced, I want to hear them.
Yeah,
we'll pick the best ones, and then Halloween, let's have some fun with it.
It's spoopy season.
That's right. So, or email them, whichever way. I think it's been a couple years since I've told the one series of stories that I've got.
Yeah.
That I personally saw.
You've got some good stories, man.
Yeah, but they were all at the same place. So it was like a series. It was part 1, part 2, part 3. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll retell that on Halloween, but I want to hear yours as well. So send those in. I just want to put that. I just kind of want to put that out there. We're not doing them today, but I want you to be thinking of them. And maybe send us yours. So.
The Haunting of Mike Ferguson, part 1.
Right. Well, I wasn't scared.
yeah.
I'm like, they couldn't do anything to me, but
they still haunted you.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying. I saw what I saw.
Still haunted you.
Just saying. All right. Several Democratic governors, and this includes J.B. Pritzker, have now formed an alternative health advisory group. So basically, an alternative to the U.S. Health and Human Services Department. They're doing
what?
Yeah, they're doing that.
Okay.
So the purpose is to counter the Trump administration and RFK Jr. So
okay.
yeah, I found the article at the Missouri Independent. Follow them on Blue Sky. It says Democratic governors launch multi-state public health alliance to counter Trump RFK Jr. And so 15 Democratic governors announced that they are forming a public health alliance that breaks with guidance from the Trump administration and RFK Jr. So California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Rhode Island, and Washington State, as well as Guam. They have created this new working group. They're calling it the Governor's Public Health Alliance, and they say it's intended to strengthen collaboration among the states in emergency preparedness and communication, and help them share data and expertise and improve response time to health threats. So they're claiming it's nonpartisan, but there aren't any Republicans in it.
It's
They're
clear,
not a
it's
single one.
clearly partisan. Now,
Right.
I'm wondering if this is going to be one of the main players in their next attempt at COVIDing us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because we were discussing the return of COVID era type of infiltrations into our lives, into the way we run our businesses.
They keep trying.
Because they keep trying. So I'm wondering if this is going to be part of the edifice of that power struggle.
I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Yes.
Because I'm reading through the article right now,
Mhm.
and Gavin Newsom has the audacity to say extremists are trying to weaponize the CDC and spread misinformation.
Gavin
When
Newsom,
did we have that happen last time?
Misinformation.
Who was in control back then?
in California, they sent the cops into the ocean
Yes.
to arrest a guy who was surfing
By himself.
outdoors
Outdoors.
in the ocean. That literally happened in California.
It wasn't in California where they filled a skate park with sand.
Yeah, well, that was one of the places. There were a
One of
few,
the-
yeah.
they were doing some crazy gestapo stuff.
I
It's
saw
like,
stupid stuff here. I remember I needed a haircut, but everything was shut down in St. Louis County. So I called the guy that at the time, the guy that cut my hair. And so we met at his house in Maplewood.
Yeah. Basically, you had a little haircut and speakeasy.
I got a black market haircut in Maplewood in the guy's backyard.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and I remember driving past his house, and the St. Louis County authorities had put crime scene tape up over the basketball hoops at the park near his house.
Yeah. So,
It was and all over the playground equipment.
heaven forbid you children go outside and do something physical. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
And now you're lucky that your neighbors didn't have that hotline to snitch on that unfamiliar car parked near his house, because you weren't supposed to have house guests either.
I was literally on a date at the time when they announced the lockdowns. We were given prior notice that all bars, all establishments, midnight was the cutoff date. So we got together as a community and we said, we're going to have a going away, see you later party together.
Jeez.
And the cops showed up at like 10:30 and we're like, okay, time for everybody to clear out. And everybody that doesn't go is getting either fined or arrested. And we're like, but we were told midnight. And even the bar owner was furious about that. It's like, well, we're here now. And that was the response. A lot less fun than getting a back alley haircut.
I could not imagine being a bar owner when my place is full at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the cops come in and clear out my business of paying customers.
Yeah.
Do you know how angry I would be?
Yeah.
Thanks, JB Pritzker.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
And JB Pritzker is part of this here.
Yeah.
So, and this is over, RFK Jr. and the CDC and Health and Human Services changing and not recommending COVID boosters, for everybody. And also, rearranging the vaccine, suggestions and the tables and all of that sort of thing. So basically they're creating their alternative one to stick with the old rules when CDC was unbelievably weaponized. But now they're saying, and this is in response to weaponization of this. But here's the thing. Let me put it this way. I don't know that this is all bad.
Mm-hmm.
For the simple reason is that the closer so-called public health is to the local communities, the better.
Yes, that's true.
Public health is now political.
It has been, particularly since COVID.
And it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But it was weaponized, politicized at the end of the first Trump administration and definitely through the Biden administration.
Yes.
It was 100% weaponized and it hurt every single American. It hurt every single one of us on this. So now they're saying, well, this weaponized, we have to stand against this. So we're creating, listen, hey, I think an alternative to the federal government that if we get to choose which one, we're going to, great.
Sure.
Now this group here, I'm going to say, you guys are a bunch of left-wing.
Yeah.
I saw what you did when you were given authority. I'm not following you at all.
Yeah. We're not choosing you now. And of course, every state has their own health department already.
And so does every county.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, you know what?
Why
do we need a federal?
And all of them have too much power.
Well, yes, clearly. Now, here's a question that I hope a lot of our Democratic friends are asking themselves as they look at the federal government doing things that they don't like. Wouldn't it be great if there wasn't a federal department?
Right.
And it was just the State Department that you got to go and complain to.
Yep. And you know what?
Wouldn't that be nice?
You can set up an internal website and you guys can share your information across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as far as when the Doge conversation, people are saying, well, what about all this research? Okay, that can still get moved to other things and done, as we talked to Congressman Bob Onder, and we talked to Eric Schmidt about, we talked to a bunch of the others on this. We talked to Phil Kerpen about, and we talked to all these guys.
That's a grant.
There's still ways to do that.
Right. It's like that's not, I think for some reason people think that members of these various bureaucracies are actually like scientists. It's like they think that a member of the health department is necessary, like all of the people in the health department are necessarily just white lab coats sitting somewhere, and then every once in a while they poke their head up. It's like, I found the thing, and then they
I cured it.
I cured the thing, and then they write a paper, and that goes. That's not how it works. It's 90% bureaucrats distributing money amongst themselves first, and then they'll shift some of that money to some researchers, maybe here or there, sometimes at universities. How about we just get rid of the bureaucracy entirely? And if you want to fund through the federal government, large scale research across maybe the university system that already exists, do that.
Yep. But now that it's become a political weapon, and a regulatory weapon, you know what? The closer it is to us, the better.
Yes.
You know,
maybe the Democrats have discovered
we ran Faisal Khan out of town.
Yeah, sure did.
You know what? So we were able to do that locally. And also, by the way, a lot of that had to do with people who had the guts, who stood up and disobeyed.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's what it took. People showing up at those meetings, and the security like, put your mask on, and they went, no. And I have a constitutional right to speak at the St. Louis County government meetings, and also people in Illinois who had the guts to tell J.B. Pritzker, no.
Yeah,
I will not comply.
You can flip the bird at your constituents all you want, but do it on the way out, buddy.
Yeah, precisely.
Now, Larry Connors wants to remind us that Trump used 3 B-52 bombers to send a message to drug cartels. Now, in Iran, the target was nukes, so we bombed them. Should we hit another country with bombs or missiles over drugs? That's one thing we're going to be asking Congressman Dr. Bob Onder at 7:35.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, Saturday's rain put a dent in the drought. Gotta love that. But we've slipped back into a dry pattern until our next chance of showers arrives on Friday. In the meantime, a little bit of a seesaw temperature pattern. 74 today under sunny skies. Winds turning breezy out of the south. Some gusts to 35 miles per hour. A couple of clouds this evening. That's a dry cold front moving through. Down to 50 early tomorrow. And then behind that front, cooler again. Tuesday, sunny and 67 with, again, gusty winds. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Dr. Draghi and his team at Esquire Sports Medicine get pros back on the field, so they can certainly help you. You need an MRI, X-ray, CAT scan, pre- or post-surgery treatment, rehab. The chiropractic physicians at Esquire can help you or connect you to experts you need. And I know you're hurting right now. You don't want to wait. Esquire sees new patients often within 24 hours. EsquireSportsMedicine.com.
Larry Connors Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connors Commentary on News Talk STL.
So the dictator of Venezuela walks out to his palace garden and sipping his wine and looks up and sees 3 U.S. B-52 bombers just off the coast. Nicolas Maduro, seeing that Trump is making good on his promise to shut down drugs flowing from Venezuela to our nation. Also last week, the U.S. hit another boatload of cocaine. One moment the boat is speeding across the water. The next moment the boat and the crew are vaporized. Good. Yet we have some legislators, including some Republicans, questioning, should Trump be doing this? Trump is not listening, nor should he. Last week, 3 B-52 bombers did fly out of Louisiana and right for the Venezuelan coastline. They were supported by refueling tankers and Marine F-35s. They were not going in to attack Venezuela, but it was a show of force to make it clear the U.S. is not going to allow drug cartels to do business as usual, sending their drugs into our nation poisoning, killing Americans. Drug lords, you no longer have Biden in the White House. Now we have a real commander-in-chief. You want to test him? That's a bad idea.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
I want to tell you more about Wellington Environmental's dustless blasting services. Wellington can blast paint, grease, graffiti, even stripes off parking lots. Truly amazing and powerful. But can Wellington blast something more sensitive? Yes, Wellington can use dry ice to blast soot and odors off smoke-damaged surfaces right after a fire. Currently, Wellington uses dry ice to clean mold off wood inside a home. Why? Well, dry ice immediately disappears, turns into a vapor. That means no mess to clean up, no damaged surfaces. You need to check with Wellington, always researching and practicing with new, better, faster, safer equipment and products for you. And it's very easy to schedule an estimator for your next project. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 644-4930. Be well with Wellington.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
We talk about race relations.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
And I'm sick and tired of it.
101.9 and 94.1.
I find it to be a conversation starter.
News Talk STL.
The Mike Ferguson Show is one of my favorite programs. In addition to Larry Connors USA, catch my program at 6. Now, back to Mike.
All right, the government is not working, and leftists march on the streets all over the country against something.
Stuff.
Yeah, stuff. Stuff. All right. 7:35 right now, joined now by Congressman Bob Onder. But before we get to that, Bob, because I want you to, we're going to task you with looking around D.C. to make sure we still don't have any kings, because we were told we need to get rid of kings. So you're closer to the seat of power than we are. I want to make sure that's the case. But a king wouldn't let a government shut down, which is where we are right now. What's the update? Because last Monday, we had a government shutdown. Today we got a government shutdown. I got a feeling next Monday we'll have a government shutdown. A lot of sound bites flying out there, but is there any movement on the behind the curtain side of it?
Yeah, good morning, guys. It's great to be back. It's interesting that there were no Kings rallies over the weekend. The implication, of course, being that Donald Trump is acting like a king. If Donald Trump were a king, the government would not be shut down. We, of course, have a system of a divided government, of separation of powers. We have 2 chambers of government. We have, and in the Senate, we have a filibuster where we need 60 votes to get anything done. Republicans have almost unanimously voted to keep the government open while we negotiate a longer-term budget. We in the House did our work a little over a month ago, the 19th of September. And, I think, unfortunately, no, I have not seen any movement. I think there are some behind-the-scenes discussions, and I cannot imagine that some Democrats who represent swing states that President Trump won aren't getting very nervous. But no, publicly, there's no movement whatsoever. And the shutdown will only end when one of 2 things happens. Either AOC and Bernie Sanders give Chuck Schumer permission to do the right thing and reopen the government. Good luck with that. Or until 5 more sensible Democrats decide that they will do the right thing and vote to pass the continuing resolution and reopen the government, get our employees paid, get our troops paid, get government services reopened. But no, I think they were waiting for the No Kings rally. Now they're saying they're waiting for open enrollment for Obamacare exchanges. We'll see.
Good morning, Bob. Gabe here. So, it's getting colder outside, so that's when the Kings start trying to move indoors to the house. So you got to look out for those damp areas.
Because if you see one,
there's a nest of them somewhere, so you got to be careful. But what do you make of these No Kings protests? Do they have any sort of impact? I guess politically, are your colleagues out there looking at this and actually trying to rethink, I guess, their positions on things?
It's amazing. No, I mean, things like the No Kings rally, they generate almost no activity, no calls, no emails, et cetera, to our office. I think because they're really not grassroots events. These are, there have been reports about the tens of millions of dollars that have gone from organizations like George Soros's Open Societies Foundation, the Arabella Associates, the Ford Foundation. These are multi-billion-dollar foundations to subsidize these No Kings rallies. And then when you look at who actually shows up, you think of protests being, younger people, college-age students, folks in their 20s. A lot of commentary that the average age is in the mid-60s of these No Kings protesters. So aging baby boomers and hippies protesting. But it really is an odd assembly of open borders advocates, Antifa, Communist Party, USA, Hate the Cops speakers. It really is not the Democrat Party putting their best foot forward, I will say. And no, I don't think it's putting any pressure on at least Republicans in Congress whatsoever.
Now, you mentioned that they don't generate any calls and emails. Now, I guess from the standpoint of politicians, of office holders, that's really where you look for movement within constituency, right?
We do. At the same time, though, we distinguish between, and after having done this a while, I spent 10 years in the Missouri legislature. After having done this a while, you can tell the difference, like, almost instantly. You can tell someone who is a progressive Democrat who writes you a somewhat well thought out email or a phone call, and someone who is what Rush Limbaugh used to call a program caller, someone who has a script. In fact, we've had folks, it really not so much now with No Kings, but back when they were hating on Doge and Elon Musk, saying, "Hey, is it okay if I read the script to you?" And they would read the script that was, oops. They would read, this happened more than once, and they would read the script that was identical to what 25 other people had said. So there's George Soros's Open Society money at work there. But no, there's no question that we are a divided country. I won my election on November 5th by 28 points, but there were quite a few, folks who didn't vote for me. But, President Trump is the president. I am the congressman for all those folks. But that doesn't mean I do stupid things that are going to hurt our country. And at a time when we are $37 trillion in debt, when our interest is almost a couple $100 billion a year more than our defense budget, we've got to exercise some sort of sanity, and we're not going to pass $1.5 trillion of new spending that's going to go on the credit card to our kids and our grandkids just because Chuck Schumer is having a hissy fit and shutting down the government.
Yeah. Now, I want to say it would be funny if at some point somebody's reading one of those scripts and one of your staff members go, "Oh no, you forgot that point." And because you've heard it so many times. Okay, let me ask you about something a little more serious here. We've all seen the video footage of the missile strikes on suspected drug trafficking boats in international waters that we're being told, bringing fentanyl and a bunch of other stuff into the U.S. And being declared narco-terrorist and just hitting them with military strikes. This past week, the president suggested, or at least hinted, that land strikes against targets in Venezuela could be on the table as well. Now, to be clear, he's not said that's going to happen, but we're talking about the possibility of launching missiles into another sovereign nation, one that's, I fully believe, is doing really bad stuff and turning a blind eye, if not actively encouraging, some of that drug trade in the U.S. But at some point, do we get into a constitutional and an ethical issue we've got to really tread lightly in?
Well, yeah, I think there's no question that Venezuela is a narco-terrorist state. Nicolas Maduro is an illegitimate leader. He probably lost to Edmundo Gonzalez like 2-1, like 67-30. He's he's condoning, if not aiding and abetting, the drug cartels. And it is the president's job as commander in chief to keep us safe. But you're right. At the same time, there are constitutional issues. Congress has the power to declare war, and at a certain point, striking inside a sovereign nation does become an act of war. But I think President Trump is sending the very clear message that he is serious. You cannot poison our citizens and not face consequences. And Maduro is pretty pretty unaccountable and really not a responsible leader. So President Trump is showing that we mean business.
Okay, just last minute or so, we're visiting. We've got Congressman Bob Onder with us. The redistricting thing in Missouri, we're not sure where that's going to go. We've got now the petition approved for circulation, and they said, oh, by the way, we've already got 100,000 signatures, which Secretary of State Denny Hoskins says, no, you can't collect signatures for something that didn't exist. And so they may have to start over on this. Dueling lawsuits now. We've got where's the money coming from on these petition drives and sort of thing to stop the redistricting. What do you make of the battle? Because we're talking about one vote in the U.S. House, and probably tens, if not $100 million, are going to be spent fighting in Missouri over that.
Yeah, there's going to be a big fight over it. Look, I think the most, I think, look, if the progressives are beginning to gather signatures, they only need 106,000 signatures. They have tens of millions of dollars to collect those signatures. They will succeed if they, when at getting those signatures. The question is whether it's legal. Can congressional maps drawn by the legislature, which is a power invested in the legislature by the federal and state constitutions, can those be subject to referendum? And Catherine Hanaway, our new Attorney General's lawsuit says, no, they cannot. I think she's in the right, because if you think about the implications of that, we would never be able to draw maps in Missouri that the Democrat Party does not approve of. They could decide they want a 5-3 map or a 4-4 map. And because the dirty little secret is we have way too much direct democracy in Missouri, and referendum petitions always go no. They've gone, every single referendum petition in Missouri history has gone no. We would never have a map. So think about it, if the 2022 map was put on hold by a referendum petition, in 24, would I have run in a 12-year-old district based on 14-year-old census data? It just doesn't make sense. I think Catherine Hanaway's lawsuit should prevail, but yeah, it's just a big mess and a big fight over one congressional seat.
All right, Congressman Bob Onder,
which is, by the way, why we should have done it back in 2022 when I was advocating for a 7-1 map then.
All right, Congressman, great chat with you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jerome. Yeah, and in Tell Me Something Good, just coming up here, my fellow MITers are developing a product that may very well change the way all cities, basically all human civilization, is powered.
That sounds big.
It's kind of big.
Wow.
Our government is too big and it spends too much.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit stlfenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
Hi, I'm Mark Sutherland, founder of Stone Ledge Distillery, and I'd like to give you a bottle of Stolock whiskey or Inversion vodka. Enter now at stoneledgedistillery.com/win. Come experience our tasting room in historic Defiance. Enjoy Stolock whiskey, Inversion vodka, and other Missouri-made spirits, wine, and craft beer in our beautiful cocktail lounge, cigar room, or out on the patio with live music every weekend. Don't forget, win a bottle of Stolock or Inversion at stoneledgedistillery.com/win. Come raise a glass in Defiance.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here, waiting for you for the 3 Martini Lunch, the Common Sense Radio, the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Now back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, we got a lot of big stuff happening this week. Obviously, a lot of intense stuff. So let's get at least part of the week started right, Gabe. I need you to tell me something good.
Tell me something good.
Businesses are hiring cats as corporate employees thanks to a partnership with some animal shelters.
I'm interested. Tell me more.
Yes, absolutely. Although they tend to nap through meetings and ignore every single email, the situation is actually a win-win for all involved. This is the Office Cat Foster Program run by the Saskatoon SPCA in Canada and Saving Grace Humane Society in the U.S. The goal is to place shelter cats in pet-friendly businesses until they find forever homes. So the office requirements are pretty simple. They just need space for a litter box and bowls for food and water. The shelters generally provide all the necessary supplies for hiring a corporate kitty, including some shelters even furnishing cute little neckties. So for the cats, so you know that they mean business.
Jeff,
I'm just saying.
Our boss, Jeff.
I'm just saying. This sounds like a great program. In return, the office gets stress relief, obviously, higher morale, and an adorable temporary coworker who sometimes doubles as pest control. The cats get a much-needed break from depressing shelter life and exposure to more people, which increases their chances of being adopted. All the while, the shelter itself benefits from essentially gaining increased capacity and, of course, the faster adoption. So somebody put in a request, Jeff. Just in writing. Yes, absolutely.
Tell me something good.
Scientists from MIT have created a unique concrete mixture that could enable everyday structures like walls, sidewalks, and bridges to store and release electrical energy. So we could turn every concrete thing in a city into part of the power grid.
Wow.
Yes, known as EC cubed or the electron conductive carbon concrete. That's the three. That's the cube. It's made through the addition of electrolytes and a specialized form of carbon known as carbon black to normal concrete. Quote, concrete is already the world's most used construction material, so why not take advantage of that scale to create other benefits, said Admir Masik, lead author of the new study explaining the material and associate professor of civil and environmental engineering at MIT. So taking inspiration from Roman architecture, the team built a miniature EC3 arch to show how structural form and energy storage can work together. So operating at about 9 volts, the arch supported its own weight and additional load on top while powering an LED light. So it's basically, hey, it's good for building stuff and good for power and stuff. So while traditional batteries maintain a higher energy density, EC3 can, in principle, be incorporated directly into a wide range of architectural elements and last as long as the structure itself.
So is there a downside that we know of so far?
Cost.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's a downside. They're still trying to scale it properly, but this sounds like it could be a real game changer for city power infrastructure.
So even if it's like for something that doesn't draw a huge amount of power, like an LED light,
sure,
you could have something so you could at least take that off the grid.
Yeah, well, the street itself could power the lamps on the street.
Wow.
Yep. So in the future, whole cities could essentially be a network of giant batteries. So it would definitely shore up America's ailing power grid.
That is remarkable.
Tell me something good.
Scientists in Australia have discovered that honeybee venom can destroy 100% of certain aggressive breast cancer cells.
Oh,
so this is another boon that we're getting from the bees, the honeybees. They're essential for pollination, for basically human agriculture, and all kinds of things. We were talking about how their stinger architecture could be used for miniature needles and things like that. So now apparently their venom can kill cancer.
Yeah, don't kill the honeybees.
Yeah, honeybees are awesome, guys. Breast cancer is the most common cancer in women. The two aggressive types, known as triple negative breast cancer and HER2 enriched breast cancer, are associated with the poorest outcomes that tend to develop resistance to existing treatment. So scientists at the Harry Perkins Institute of Medical Research in Perth and the University of Western Australia, also in Perth, found that the substance called melatonin, which is what makes honeybee venom painful, rapidly kills these cancer types by punching holes in their cell membranes, as well as disrupting the chemical messages the cells need to grow and divide. So, and it managed to do all that without causing harm to any healthy cells.
Yeah, so we're not talking when somebody gets stung. We're talking about just using the
compound that you'd have to distill it, you'd have to concentrate it. But just that. If it's injected into these cancer cells, it kills them instantly. Quote, the venom was extremely potent, said Dr. Sierra Duffy, who led the research. We found that melatonin can completely destroy cancer cell membranes within 60 minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah. So basically, you get an injection, you go in the office, you get an injection, you walk out cancer free.
And this is, they're looking at one type of cancer, but is it possible that this could be applied to other types of cancer?
They're definitely doing that research.
I am so sick of cancer taking people that I am related to or that I otherwise have in my life. Cancer has taken way too many people.
Absolutely. So it looks like the cure we've been chasing for such a long time might have been buzzing around us all along.
Tell me something good.
I'm really excited about that one, though, because that could be huge. Now, to help you plan to have a good week, Tuesday is National Back to the Future Day. So this is the date in 2015 that was the destination for Doc DeLorean in the second movie in the trilogy.
Let me just put this. So 10 years ago was the future forward date. And we're looking back at the future forward date.
Yeah, but by the way, you know how Back to the Future was set in 1985 and was about going back to 1955?
Yeah.
If it was made today in 2025, it would be about going back to 1995. I'm sorry, that's not good news. Let me just keep going. I'm sorry. Wednesday is National Scar Appreciation Day, where you're encouraged to embrace these marks as part of your personal journey.
Really?
Yes. Wednesday, October 20.
I have never heard of this.
Yeah, Scar Appreciation Day. Yeah.
Really? Because I mean, not to get too personal, but I mean, I'm a 3rd-degree burn survivor. I've got a lot of scars.
I was thinking about you, man.
So I had no idea that existed.
Yep. So appreciate the journey that those scars represent, right? Thursday is National Boston Cream Pie Day.
I'm good with that.
I'm good for that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Friday is National Bologna Day.
Yeah.
Look. No matter how deep I get into the upper middle class, I could always go for a fried bologna sandwich.
Yeah. See, when I grew up, lunch almost every day at school was bologna and cheese.
Oh,
it was
okay. After a while, it gets there is a threshold for everything.
Did your bologna have a first name?
Yeah, it's OSCAR.
Yeah.
My bologna actually had a second name.
Did it?
Yeah, it's MEY.
MAY.
MAY.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But today is National Chicken and Waffles Day.
Okay.
Now it's pretty new, actually. It's founded in 2021, but it sounds delicious. If any of this helps you have a good week, be sure to let us know on Facebook and Twitter at NewsTalkSTL.
And also, I kind of had the idea pop in my head a little bit ago. You got a good ghost story.
Yes, the ghost stories.
Send us a ghost story because obviously we're 11 days from Halloween.
We're collecting them.
So you can email me with your ghost story. And I'm looking for something that you experienced.
Yes.
But you can also send me a voicemail. So if you've got an iPhone, you just got a voice memo thing, record that, and then you can email that to Jerome or email it to me. Either way. Or you could go through the News Talk STL app and you can record a voice memo and send it to us that way as well. So do it. This will be a lot of fun.
Hi, Chris Arps here. Join me and the team at Royal Banks of Missouri for their annual Economic Forecast Breakfast. The event takes place on Tuesday, November 18th at the factory in the district of the Chesterfield Valley. You'll hear from their experts and get a better understanding of what to expect from the U.S. economy in 2026 and beyond. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. and the program starts at 8 a.m. Attendance is free, but you do need to reserve a spot. You can RSVP by calling 314-212-1595. That's Royal Banks of Missouri.
This Labor Day, we honor the hard work that builds our families, our communities, and our country. At Snooze Mattress Company, we believe everyone deserves rest that restores, recharges, and rewards the work you do every day. Starting September 5th, save up to $725 on top brands like Tempur-Pedic, Serta, and Beauty Rest. Plus, experience Dream Mapping, our way of helping you find the perfect mattress tailored for you. Proudly local, grateful for your hard work, here to help you rest well, because if you don't snooze, you lose.
Hi, I'm Jen Wallner.
And I'm Rodney Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Rodney, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission rate?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
When's the best time to sell your home?
Right now. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Special Trump envoy Steve Witkoff and presidential son-in-law Jared Kushner are in Israel today. They're looking to strengthen the fragile Gaza ceasefire, which has been violated in at least one instance. The president says Ukraine should have to give up some territory in order to end the war with Russia.
Even though Russia is the aggressor and despite his recent openness to helping Ukraine win, the president now says most of the contested Donbas region of Ukraine should go to Russia.
What I say is they should stop right now at the battle lines, go home, stop killing people, and be done.
At the current battle line, most of Donbas would be in Russian hands. The president plans to meet with Russia's Vladimir Putin in the coming weeks. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A shocking heist in France. The thieves making good their getaway.
In mere minutes inside the world's most visited museum, the Louvre in Paris, thieves rode a basket lift up the facade, forced a window, smashed display cases, and fled with priceless Napoleonic jewels. Officials say the daylight heist took place about 30 minutes after opening, with visitors already inside. One object was later found outside the museum. French media identified it as the emerald-set imperial crown of Napoleon III's wife, Empress Eugenie. It was reportedly recovered broken. I'm Julie Walker.
President Trump is not impressed by Saturday's so-called No Kings rallies.
Demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
The president says he is no king. His supporters say that if he was, he would have shut down those rallies. Watching Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell, stock futures in positive territory. The Dow futures are up 144 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 131. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you have an IRA or 401k, this is a message you really need to hear. In just the last 2 years, the price of 1 troy ounce of silver has more than doubled, up over 100%, and silver is now poised for major gains in the months ahead. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD to learn how to convert a portion of your retirement assets into physical silver and position yourself for the next wave of growth in precious metals. It's not too late to leverage the power of silver to help secure your financial future. With the devaluation of the U.S. dollar and volatility in the stock market, silver continues to be a safe haven asset that investors trust. When you call 800-741-GOLD, you'll get your free precious metals rollover guide, plus a copy of former IMF Chairman Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. The time is now to consider adding silver into the mix to protect your retirement. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-4653. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, Saturday's rain put a dent in the drought. Gotta love that. But we've slipped back into a dry pattern until our next chance of showers arrives on Friday. In the meantime, a little bit of a seesaw temperature pattern. 74 today under sunny skies. Winds turning breezy out of the south. Some gusts to 35 miles per hour. A couple of clouds this evening. That's a dry cold front moving through. Down to 50 early tomorrow. And then behind that front, cooler again. Tuesday, sunny and 67 with, again, gusty winds. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
Winter's coming fast. Is your furnace ready? Johnson Heating and Cooling is here to help. Get our complete furnace checkup for just $99. We'll check for gas leaks, inspect electrical connections, and examine your flue to keep your family safe and warm. We service all brands of equipment, and we're fully licensed and insured. From furnace maintenance to air conditioning service, new installations to repairs. Call 636-332-4141 or visit johnson-heatingandcooling.com.
Mike Ferguson.
We the people.
Gabe Phifer.
It's not rocket science. Rocket science.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm. Get up.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, the plug may be getting pulled on a big EV battery manufacturing project in North City. So this is a massive, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars at stake on this. Also, we've got at stake the right role of government. So big questions here. Also, St. Louis Public Schools get rid of another boss. And also, by the end of tonight, we are going to know what the World Series matchup is going to be. One way or the other, Game 7 is either going to be the Blue Jays or the Mariners. So we'll tell you about that here. It's 8:05 right now. Let's dump some news on you.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The morning news dump.
All right. And by the way, we are going to be discussing the No Kings thing. So if you got some thoughts on that, or if you witnessed any of it, you drove past it, if you were part of it,
yeah, absolutely,
I'd love to hear from you. So we will talk about that right around 8:20 or so. Okay, the EV battery factory project in North City may not happen. Now, as of right now, my understanding is the plans are still on for this.
Right.
We talked about this, 2 years ago, something like that. According to the St. Louis Business Journal and Missouri Net, the Trump administration announced that it's going to block that $197 million federal grant to support ICL specialty products. Now, that company is planning to build a $500 million factory that they say would employ over 150 workers. And what it would be doing is making batteries for electric vehicles. And this grant was part of the Biden administration's Green New Deal stuff.
Yes, that whole debacle.
Yeah. And so now the Trump administration says that's part of the money getting clawed back. And that's part of the money getting cut.
Yeah, because we're tired of subsidizing things that can't make it on its own in the free market.
Yeah. So here's where we're at is obviously, if you're in North City, you're nervous about this announcement because this was going to be 150 pretty well-paying jobs.
Yeah, I'd imagine
we're
so.
talking pretty well-paying jobs in an area that desperately needs an injection of money.
Absolutely.
And something, and that would be a business. But at the same time, this is not what the government should be doing for every reason Gabe just said.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, and I would contend that giving basically the false hope of these types of jobs is also would actually have more of a negative effect than whatever temporary good it would do. Because we've seen this during the Obama administration, where billions of dollars was thrown at a lot of these big green companies. They would live off of that money basically for 3-4 years at the most, go under, take all the money with them and all the jobs, and you're left worse off than you started.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where it would be a company surviving at the with the largesse of the federal government.
Yeah.
And so as long as the government kept saying, well, we got to subsidize, we got to have green energy, renewable energy, then we're all paying for it in taxes anyway. Yeah. Okay. The union representing Boeing's currently not working employees has filed a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board saying the company is not negotiating in good faith. So the complaint from the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers is in reaction to a company's recent statement that said the most recent offer is firm and declaring that the economics will not change. A Boeing statement in response to the union calls the move a stunt and says there's nothing unfair about an offer that includes, on average, 45% wage increases to where the average salary would be about $109,000 a year, plus really, really good benefits.
It's so crazy that they're accusing Boeing of not acting in good faith, because anybody in the private sector who's not represented by a union knows that sort of an increase is unheard of.
Yeah, totally right. Yeah. Especially right now.
Yeah, I just asked ChatGPT what the average annual wage increase for private sector workers in the U.S. currently appears to be, and it's in the ballpark of 3 to 4% a year.
Yeah, which is cost of living adjustment.
It's a cost of living adjustment. That's the most you're going to get, and they're asking for, now cumulatively it would be 40% over 5 years, 45% over
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah,
so that's
with over half of that loaded up front.
Yeah, that's outsized of any sort of private sector. So the idea that they saw that offer and they balked at it's like, come on, you can do better than that.
And said it was an insult. And we're just looking for, just stupid.
It's disgusting.
Listen, there are a lot of, hey, you know what, private sector, you can do your negotiations but in this case right here, the union's just being stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really stupid. All right. Americans say they are increasingly concerned about their ability to find a good job. So it turns out there are people who would be looking for jobs like, I don't know, the ones at Boeing.
Yeah, for real.
That's according to a new poll from the Associated Press and the NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. Bernie Bennett, with our friends at townhall.com, has the story.
High prices for groceries, housing, and healthcare persist as a fear for many households, while rising electricity bills and the cost of gas at the pump are also sources of anxiety, according to the survey. Some 47% of U.S. adults are, quote, not very or not at all confident that they could find a good job if they wanted to, an increase from 37% when the question was last asked in October of 2023. Electricity bills are a major source of stress for 36% of U.S. adults. Just more than 1/2 said the cost of groceries are a major source of financial stress, and about 4 in 10 said the cost of housing and healthcare were a serious drain. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing is that the cost of living is going to keep going up. Groceries are going to go up.
That's how it goes.
Stuff that you're going to want for the holidays going up.
Inflation is a thing.
Yeah, it's not even just inflation, but also inflationary are thing. And here's the thing: President Trump himself said that the tariffs were going to drive up prices.
True.
So he said it was temporary and it was going to be worth it. But the fact of the matter is it's driving up prices for everyday stuff that you buy.
Currently. Yes. Currently, I would say that the federal government, and in large part, I would think just leftist societal pressures have kind of created the situation we're in, because a lot
healthcare cost. I mean, that's Obamacare.
Obamacare has killed healthcare costs. The major increases in your daily living stuff came during the Biden administration. Now, now granted,
that's when you print up trillions of dollars. The Trump and Biden administration is printing up trillions trillions of dollars lowers the value of the dollar.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. That's where we end up. And then you couple that with the societal pressures for every kid to go to college and get a useless degree, while all of the job openings are for something else. So now we have a mismatched job versus potential employee system, and nobody's happy, nobody's working, and everything costs too much.
And the economy is resetting right now.
Now,
just AI has caused a lot of that. The data centers are going to be a lot of that. So there's a lot of resetting and what economists call creative destruction.
Now we are going to get through this. This isn't a dire. I don't think we're in like an economic death spiral or anything. But the current situation is just really bad, and we need to kind of reset our expectations here.
I don't know if you've heard, but the St. Louis Public School District is a mess.
Oh, yeah.
In case you haven't heard that.
And continues to be.
Yeah. At the end of last week, the school board fired Superintendent Millicent Borishade. She was the third person to lead the district over the last 3 years. The board has not disclosed the reason for the termination. The interim chief of the district. Okay, follow me now.
Okay, yeah.
The interim chief of the district's human resources department.
Okay, all right.
Has been named the interim superintendent.
Wow. Okay.
While they're looking for a new superintendent.
So the interim head of HR is now the interim head of all the things.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's going to go well.
I mean, maybe Myra Bear is incredibly competent and able to, I don't know anything about her. I just know that she was not the permanent. She replaced somebody in HR. Hopefully she's doing a very good job there. Now she's over everything while they're looking for somebody else.
I'm taking bets that this system will remain trash for the next few years.
If anybody says, well, prove to me that we need school choice, look at the St. Louis school district
right there.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's do a couple sportsy things here. Game 7 is going to determine who faces the Dodgers in the World Series this week. The Blue Jays get the 6-2 win over the Brewers in Toronto last night to even up that American League Championship Series 3 games to 3 games.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of nail biting in my household.
Oh my goodness. Yes. And so was Janet like grabbing onto your arm during that game last night because she wants her Blue Jays to win?
Very excited for it. Yes. Absolutely. So yeah, she's hoping that they actually make I mean they made a serious run for it so far.
Yeah.
So getting it would be like once in a lifetime.
One game away here. So the final game, it's going to decide the American League Championship, is tonight, 7:08. Fox is carrying it, so that's going to be on Channel 2. All right, both Mizzou and the Illini are in the top 25 in the latest football polls. Definitely Mizzou. You knew they were going to be, and Illinois has kind of returned to it. So coming off their big double overtime win over Auburn, the Tigers are now ranked 15 by the AP and 14 by the coaches. Illinois in both polls is ranked at number 23.
Try to make me stop, no inspiration. You have a soul so dark, it is no more. And all at once depart, no destination. Making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
The cross between Socrates and Dirty Harry.
On Newstalk STL.
Right now, before you blow us all away.
Now, the Free Market Minute, brought to you by the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
Hi, it's Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show, and I'm here with Dr. Grant Black. And Grant, capitalism, that is increasingly under attack. But why is a free market system so important?
The simple answer, society is much better off because of free markets. Free markets allow individuals and business owners to freely choose what to consume, how to save, where to live and do business, what to produce, and how to protect our valuable resources, and so much more. And this can all happen without requiring heavy government interference. In a nutshell, free markets empower people to live their lives the way they choose. And this makes all our lives better.
The John W. Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University fosters and examines market-oriented approaches to economic and social issues. To learn more, visit hammondinstitute.org.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today.
800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380. Paid for by U.S. Med.
This is so stupid.
St. Louis's
Okay, I'm hanging up on you now.
place to talk. News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Vic Porcelli.
And Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, Vic.
Ken and I are on every Monday through Friday here on News Talk STL. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh, my morning, people.
You know, you got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
It's 2 days out, and the country is still talking about the No Kings protest.
We're still talking about the No Kings. Now, granted, I'll say a third are memes and jokes.
Sure. As a lot, the right is
Deserved.
laughing at it, making fun of it.
Deserved.
But the fact of the matter is that if it weren't as big as it was, people wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah, because the last time, particularly in our local area, the last time they did a sort of No Kings thing, it was very much it happened,
right?
And then we stopped talking about it. So we said, yeah, they were out on. We said it was coming, right? Because we saw all the advertisements for it, right? It was like we don't know how big this is going to be.
We weren't freaking out, but we're like,
and they could, and
we don't know what's going to happen here.
And we were just talking, straight, statistics. Like, well, okay, when they get together, sometimes things get broken. So we were just warning people about it. And then, it happened. It was peaceful, but it was relatively small. Right. So it didn't really have much of an impact. And we just we shrugged our shoulders. Hey, it happened. And nobody died and nothing got broken. So then we moved on.
Right.
This thing, like you said, 2 days later, we're still talking.
Yeah, it was big. Here's the thing is, and I'm picking on MSNBC one because it's so easy.
Yes.
They
target rich environment.
Yeah, my goodness. So they weren't as big as the left-wing media tells you that it was.
Oh, yeah.
But it's bigger than what the Republican social media influencers and influencer wannabes want to claim.
Yeah, they're trying to think of it as like basically the last one that we were talking about. It was kind of a nothing burger, and we just kind of shrugged our shoulders at it. But this one was big.
It was, and for instance, even in St. Louis, there were 10 or 12 of these things on both sides of the river, including both sides of the river. And it looks like, the one downtown had thousands of people at it. The one over Tam Avenue, probably some crossover with people over 64. But it was still, there were, I'm sure, hundreds at that. And that's a lot. They had a lot of silly stuff being displayed and posted. KMOV reporter Haley Kirby was the one who covered that on Saturday. And so she kind of went out and just, stuck the microphone and camera in a number of people's faces and said, why are you here kind of thing. And here's part of the answers that she got.
What's a little rain when democracy is at stake?
On the Tam Avenue Bridge overlooking 64. Despite less than ideal conditions, hundreds showed up to voice their concerns.
No matter how you voted, we want you to think about where the country's going. And might you want to think about things differently?
It's just one demonstration happening in St. Louis for the second No Kings Day of Action, a national protest against President Donald Trump and his administration. Down the road in downtown St. Louis, another gathering of protesters.
But to me, No Kings means that we as a people have rights, and we fought for those rights, and we're not going to let them go away.
And over in Belleville, Illinois, yet another demonstration.
We are trying to show we want to protect our country and we want to keep it free. The impression that we are getting is that that's what he wants to be, is a king, and it's his way or no way. And I'm sorry, our forefathers fought too hard for this country to let that happen.
Yeah, so the left saying that we want to preserve freedom when they are the authoritarian party, which, by the way, I know this is going to be authoritarian, guys, but I'm going to say it anyway. There ought to be a law.
Oh, no.
Okay,
where
I
are we
want
now?
to pass a law that bans any protest chant that starts with hey, hey, ho, ho.
Okay.
I know that is a gross violation of your First Amendment rights, but I'm saying is that if I were the king that they wanted to get rid of,
Right.
I would ban chanting hey, hey, ho, ho. You can start any other way, but there ought to be a law.
Hi ho,
to the protest
See,
we go.
that's better. That's better.
Okay, all right.
That's better.
See,
I like that.
I think we should do a whole segment of if I were king. and just here's the unconstitutional law I would implement.
Yeah.
That would be one of them. The other would be prosecutions for not putting back your shopping cart.
There you go.
So
oh my goodness. All right. So Haley Kirby got some more sound bites from protesters. This was all pretty much on the Illinois side.
You can't control America. The use of ICE is a terrible thing.
Stop messing with my Social Security. Stop taking funds away from the veterans.
We vote for a president, and that he's supposed to be the representative of all the people. We don't have an authoritarian ruler who can just do whatever they want.
Okay. And then obviously, on social media, we talk about the irony of those who supported show me your papers, wear a mask that does nothing because you might get a cold, lock down the schools, shut down businesses, get a shot or lose your job, police being called on somebody who's walking around. That was your all side. But now you're bitching about authoritarianism.
Yeah, seriously. It's so crazy. And you got to look at some of the blue areas as well. They're still looking to do those things.
Oh, they're trying.
There's still blue support for it.
Yeah.
I said this before. If the crown is blue, they're all on their knees. That's just kind of how it does. They don't just want no kings. They want their own kind of king.
Yeah.
That's really what the issue is.
Yeah.
Because I remember Obama saying, "Hey, even if I don't get legislation, I can do this thing with a pen and a phone. Elections have consequences," right? That was kind of the mantra of the left during that period. So they don't like when the shoe's on the other foot. Ultimately,
People were literally making merchandise with Kamala Harris's face and a crown on, calling her the queen bee. It's still available on Amazon right now. And these are the people.
They said no kings.
Oh,
they didn't say no queen.
That's a good point.
I so want President Trump to come out and drag now.
Queen.
AI, do your thing.
I'm the first female president. I'm the greatest.
I'm the greatest female president there'll ever be.
Listen, I try to call balls and strikes when it comes to every politician out there.
Yes.
I think President Trump does not look at the Constitution as something that constrains it.
No.
I'm saying there are things that I think that his administration is too big government.
He oversteps his executive authority on a regular basis.
He's
like pretty much every president we've had since.
But are we
Jefferson.
talking authoritarian? No, of course not.
No.
So, there are things on the policy that I don't like either, but they could not articulate much of anything. The one guy articulated the use of ICE to go after illegal aliens.
Right.
Okay. I think you're nuts for feeling that way, but at least you articulated something.
At least you said a thing.
The other one of the women said, stopping benefits for our veterans. Okay. That's Democrats doing that right now.
Yeah.
That's not Trump doing that.
Right.
That's your side doing that.
If he were a king, like Bob Onder said when we talked to him earlier today, there would be no government shutdown. The veterans would get their benefits.
Might be some beheadings, but
that's a good point. That's a good point.
But no government shutdown.
But no government shutdown.
And we're like, no, that's not what Doge meant. No.
A lot of ring kissing.
Yeah.
but look, here's the thing that always gets me with those types of people is they have the generic talking points.
Right.
Like, oh, our rights are being taken away, and they're messing with this and when you really look at what they're talking about, it's ultimately just policy differences as opposed to actual usurpations of rights.
It's Orange Man bad.
It is very much an Orange Man bad.
It was Orange Man bad. That's really all it comes down to is Orange Man bad. And I don't know if they're looking at all those huge Trump rallies leading up to the last election and saying, well, if it worked for them, maybe it'll work for us. I don't know if that's the strategy.
Yeah.
But shoot me a note if you were at one of them.
I will say this too, in terms of the crowd size thing, because I've noticed this it became a thing, I think, in the Trump era where crowd size became a means by which to attack the other side, basically using a popularity contest as a determining factor of whether or not you're on the right side. So it's like, hey, look, we're succeeding because we got this many people out to do the thing, and we're succeeding because we got this many people out to do the thing. I don't like it. I think it's silly. I think it's kind of kid stuff that's like, well, my crowd is bigger than your crowd. He's like, oh, all right.
You have a crowd swinging contest.
Yeah, crowd swinging contest. Exactly. Yeah, I don't find it very interesting.
Sorry,
Mom.
but
I will say this though. There is something to be said about being able to get right-leaning people out in a crowd versus getting left-leaning people out in a crowd. I think just about human behavior, people on the right are more difficult to get out into the streets. To get out into a crowd.
I am not a protester or rally guy.
We're not rally people.
I've spoken at them before.
Sure.
But it's like, hey, you want to go out in the 10? I mean, listen, do your First Amendment thing, do it, show momentum. A lot of good people are going to be at ones that I like and all that sort of thing. But I'd rather go.
Yeah, exactly. And
the park.
And even back in the Tea Party days, right? It's
I spoke at some of those.
Getting those together, I think was a major thing, because the type of people who showed up there are not the type of people who regularly go out to political rallies or protests or anything like that.
And a lot of people got elected from those.
Oh, absolutely.
There were a lot of Tea Party people that end up running for office at all levels and getting elected.
It had a significant effect on the Republican Party. I think it pulled them a little bit to the right in terms of
because remember policy. That started, a lot of people like that was a protest against Obama. No. The Tea Party movement started when George W. Bush was in office. That was before Obama.
It was in protest of the too big to fail kind of.
It was in protest of George W. Bush's big government. And then, of course, it was easy to roll that into opposing Obama's big government.
Easy. Yeah. So, but the thing is, with left wingers, it's like, all right, hey, we got a really big crowd of left wingers. Like, so what? They were ready to do this anyway. You just had to give them a pre-printed sign and they're ready to go.
That's right. But again, First Amendment. They exercised it right. There were a few instances where things got rough.
Yeah.
Portland, I think there was one in Chicago.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are you saying they got a little rowdy in Portland?
Yeah, they got a little rowdy in Portland. There was some tear gas that was deployed.
Okay.
But probably 98, 99% of them were peaceful. And this was, generally speaking, done the way you're supposed to do it. And I say generally speaking because
there's always
in big areas, they're like, including in St. Louis, they just went into the streets and marched through the streets. Non-violent, but it doesn't look like they had the proper permits, and the police just let them do it, which what are the police going to do? Like have the 20 people, they're doing traffic control, try to stop 1,000 people. No, you're not going to do that.
Impeding traffic is, I think, outside the bounds of good.
It's not peaceful protest, but it's non-violent.
But it's non-violent. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Right. So
that's fine. Hey, golf clap for you for not turning over cars.
Right. I mean, there was nobody else downtown St. Louis on a weekend anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are you going to do downtown St. Louis on a weekend? Nothing.
Yeah. Well, you know what you can do, not just on the weekend, but 24/7 is listen to the NewsTalkSTL app.
Yep.
Because you can have basically all of our programming available at your fingertips, both live as well as all of the podcasts. So you go to wherever you get your apps, you download that onto your phone, you have it with you 24/7. You have access to us. You hit the little wheel of fun, this little phone button. You can call into whatever show is currently live that time and go and yell at us if you want to. But but basically, if you have a phone, you have a radio.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
This is like giving you a bowl of doggy doo, put a cherry on top and call it a chocolate sundae.
On Newstalk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Well, Saturday's rain put a dent in the drought. Gotta love that. But we've slipped back into a dry pattern until our next chance of showers arrives on Friday. In the meantime, a little bit of a seesaw temperature pattern. 74 today under sunny skies. Winds turning breezy out of the south. Some gusts to 35 miles per hour. A couple of clouds this evening. That's a dry cold front moving through. Down to 50 early tomorrow. And then behind that front, cooler again. Tuesday, sunny and 67 with, again, gusty winds. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
Fox News commentary with Michael Duncan from the Ruthless Podcast. Next. If your cash is sitting in a savings account, it's at risk. Old school advice says save more, but today the strategy is broken. When inflation spikes, they print money or cut rates, your dollar shrinks. So do your savings. The solution? Own something real. Physical gold and silver. When the dollar drops, gold and silver prices rise. And with Noble Gold, owning gold is simple. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com and chat with a specialist. The knowledge is free. The protection is priceless. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions.
Here's Michael Duncan.
In recounting his story of captivity, freed Israeli hostage Tal Shoam revealed that his captors weren't only Hamas fighters. There was a teacher, a university lecturer, even a doctor. From college campuses to tunnels under Gaza, those cheering on Hamas are among the most highly educated in society. And it's always been this way. Osama bin Laden came from a billionaire family. Ayman al-Zawahiri was a physician. And while today's intellectuals may wrap their ideology in vague terms like resistance, chants of globalize the intifada or from the river to the sea have a very simple message. Violence is justified. Radical Islam is not the last resort of desperate people. It cannot be negotiated with through aid packages or economic opportunity. It is a fully articulated philosophy of violence that will always be antithetical to Western values.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
Storm damage got you stressed out? Don't worry. Call Mario and his team at Top Quality Exteriors. We're your local St. Louis neighbors. Mario and his team specialize in roofing, siding, and gutters. Whether you need a few shingles replaced or a complete exterior makeover, we bring quality work with real results at an affordable price. Plus, we'll work with your insurance company to get your claim approved and help you get your repairs done quickly. Call for a free estimate today, 314-618-8888. BBB accredited and ready to roll. 314-618-8888.
If you're worried about losing your health insurance through Medicaid, we have great news for you. New government regulations have expanded the Affordable Care Act. And now you may qualify to get health insurance for you and your family through the Affordable Care Act. Call now to learn if you qualify. We know the healthcare regulations regarding Medicaid, and we've helped thousands of people find quality, affordable health insurance. Plus, all our research is free to you. So call us. With just one call, we'll shop from hundreds of different insurance companies to find you the right affordable health insurance plan. So if you're worried about losing your Medicaid insurance, call right now. Speak with a licensed agent and find how you may qualify for a new health insurance plan.
800-479-0931. 800-479-0931. 800-479-0931. That's 800-479-0931. Paid for by the Health Insurance Hotline.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
And join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Tim Jones here. You're obviously a smart person because you're listening to Mike, Gabe, producer Jerome, and the gang at Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Don't forget to stick around for Jones and Arps every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m.
This Limp Bizkit?
No, but
who is this?
Saliva.
Saliva. Okay. The reason I asked that because I remember the song. I mean, this was 90s, a little bit after my wheelhouse. But you see, the bass player for Limp Bizkit died.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, something couldn't get a liver transplant, in time, and whatever it was he was suffering from. Yeah, because he was only 48 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way too young.
Way too young. Yeah.
A lot of musicians from that era actually. Who's the singer from Stone Temple Pilots?
Oh yeah, because he went on to sing for Velvet Revolver too. He just OD'd himself into oblivion. I mean, he was that you saw that one coming a mile away. Yeah, Velvet Revolver has got a couple awesome albums.
You can't drop news like this on me after we do Tell Me Something Good.
I know, exactly.
I was feeling great, and now I'm down the dumps.
Anyway, tough news for a lot of kind of that. What would you call that? That wouldn't be like new metal. That was kind of the Limp Bizkit. We always called it the rap rock thing.
Yeah, that's technically what new metal is considered by people my age. Saliva kind of fits into that because they did have some rap rock kind of songs.
A little bit, not much. I like Saliva better than Limp Bizkit, but yeah.
I'm actually surprised you know these bands. I just thought you were nothing but hair metal.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I was never real big into the rap rock thing. It just wasn't my taste, but there were some bands that I liked in the era on there. But yeah, so I figured you'd be all over that. I figured
yeah.
exactly.
That is what I grew up with, and I'm not ashamed of it.
No, you shouldn't be either. All right. Okay, so we are 11 days away from Halloween.
Yes.
11 days away. So what are the odds that you have experienced something paranormal, or you will? Somebody actually looked into it to say, what are the odds?
That's a very complicated sort of.
There's actually been a study done on this. Now, I will tell you that I question the veracity of the methodology. It's a very haphazard study.
How do you even what kind of math do you even use?
That's why I question it. So basically, they looked at surveys and also self-reported instances where somebody reported that they saw or experienced something, and so they've come up with some numbers on this. So, and by the way, along those lines here, if you're one of the people who has experienced something, tell us about it, because on Halloween, which is Friday this year, I think, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, that's I'm looking at the map right behind you here. So or map, the calendar right behind you. Map of the days.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Okay, so it's Friday. So send us what you've experienced. Just send me a short paragraph or two. Maybe send me a voicemail. You can do a voice memo on your iPhone and email it to me, Mike@NewsTalkSTL.com or Jerome at NewsTalkSTL.com. Or you can send us a memo through the app. If you've got the NewsTalkSTL app, you can send us a memo for free through that as well. So we'll pick some of the best ones, and then we'll read them or play them on Halloween, which I think is going to be kind of fun. Now I do not believe ghosts are leftover people personally. I think there's something out there. I just don't think it's great grandma, who never left, because she had, I love ghost stories. Believe me, I love them. But that doesn't mean I believe them, but I believe there's something out there. So we can talk about that more on Halloween as well, I think.
Yeah, the concept of the spirit that got trapped here with unfinished business, I feel like there would be a lot more of them nowadays. It's like, right. I didn't post
Why
that
can't
online.
you leave? I haven't paid my student loans off yet. They're trying to talk to me about my car warranty.
Oh man.
Okay, so this study was it was done by a group called Analyzing Data from Ghosts of America, and then there was one for Canada's as well. And then they did a scan of social media posts on this as well. So this was done by casino.ca, which is, a casino trade group, I guess, which I don't know why they would be so worried about ghosts and goblins. But here's what they found. Overall, in the United States, there are 2,329 ghost sightings per 10,000 people, which means that you have a 23.29% chance of having some kind of experience. Yeah. So almost 1 in 4 Americans say that they have seen or experienced something paranormal, at least.
I mean, I guess that sounds about right based on self-reporting and those
Right.
measures. I'm looking through the site that you posted for the show sheet, and it's just weird that, I guess if it's a casino, they're probably good at waging, gathering odds and all that.
It's a plus 329 odds. I don't even know what all that means, but that's what they're saying.
Is this up on Polymarket? Like, we bet on this right now or no?
You can bet on anything on there, probably. Okay, so the most haunted state, according to this, is going to be New York State. Now, to me, it would make sense that it would be in New England, because that's the oldest area as far as our New World civilization. 81 sightings per 10,000 people. The top 5 states for ghost sightings or paranormal experiences: Texas, Louisiana, California, and Utah. I am surprised at that 4. Louisiana does not surprise me, but I would have absolutely thought that some of the older states, like I thought, like South Carolina, would have been in there, and Georgia, and some of those. I thought those would be in there, but the least haunted state is Georgia, with only 6 sightings per 10,000 people.
Well, okay, real quick though, does that imply that it's less haunted, or is it the case that there are just less people there to be haunted?
No, they're talking per 10,000 people, so fewer percentage.
So
gets
some
it.
shy ghosts out there.
Yeah. So if you're wondering about the bi-state area here, in Illinois, it's 51 sightings per 10,000 people, and Missouri, 42 sightings per 10,000 people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would not expect it to be that high. I would figure all the ghosts would have left Illinois by now.
They're being taxed out of it. You think they'd come here? I would think. But now here's the thing. Actually, there are, and one of these days I'm going to grab these. I don't know if you go like to CVS and some of those, you've got those local book series, and one of them are the ghost stories around here. There are some really good ones around here. If you're around Lindenwood University, they've got some ghost stories on Lindenwood's campus.
Wow.
I mean, like there's one like hall that is said to be haunted by the woman it's named after. And so they've got some wild stories out there.
So I know Tony Colombo actually, I think has, he and the Haunted Garage guys have some pretty good stories, but somebody that should be able to also send us a voicemail, because he's, been on the show a few times and he has his own show, Nick Schroer.
He has more than one show. He has 2 shows.
Yeah. 2 shows, Schroer. But he actually went on one of those ghost tours and showed me some of the photos when I was filling in for him, and just incredible stuff. I mean, I personally have not, I'm very interested in that stuff. And I'm the kind of knucklehead that brings a Ouija board out to a cemetery with some buddies, see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with a Ouija board.
Yeah, but
I'm not doing that.
But so I was told, I was in Florida, they have those street psychic people that read your fortunes. And I was told I'm cut off from the spirit world, whatever they may be.
You're cut off from.
I'm cut off from the ghostly spirit world. That's why I don't.
That's not good for their business. I wouldn't think they would say that.
That's why I was surprised. I'm like, well, I want my money back now. So that's why I love hearing other people's experiences, though, because I mean, even my mom, she's she's got a doctorate in psychology. She's a very intelligent woman, but she's had some ghost experiences that I'm sure I could probably get her to share with us as well.
Absolutely. I'd love to get her to like record something and get it. Let's add them in on the Halloween show. I think which would be a lot. I mean, we're going to talk about like real stuff, serious stuff on that, but we're going to do that. It's been a couple of years since I've told the story, but I had some experiences, and I will tell you and the building that I had them in was destroyed by the tornado back in May.
Oh,
so it's, I'm sure if they haven't knocked it down, they're about to, but that was in the Central West End. And it was a series of experiences I had over the course of months. But each one was distinctive, and I can retell that story, but I'll do that on Halloween.
Now, what happens to the ghosts when you demolish a haunted building?
I don't know.
Do they get evicted, or do they just kind of
ghostly
people?
Is there
a ghost house?
Tell me what happens there, because that
call in ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was that's I don't know how that works. But the thing is, I love the stories, even though I don't believe most of them. But I do believe something's there. And that's why if you tell me your story and you experienced it, I'm going to listen, and again, I'll maybe decide that, maybe you got hyperactive imagination, or maybe something happened.
Now, I will say I was in Savannah, Georgia, and
that's why I thought Georgia would be higher on the list and not dead last. Savannah is a cool place.
Yeah. And one of the places we were at, it was at one point a hospital with children that were, I believe was it scarlet fever that causes you to people think you're dead. So there's an entire cemetery right next door with the little bells because people were not really dead when they were being buried. And so that led to some problem. I mean, there's a whole lot of historic areas, and there are places like that in Alton over here too.
Okay, Alton is supposed to be one of the most haunted cities in America. Alton, Illinois.
You could definitely feel some sort of sense of like just something going on, but I feel like I was the only one that gripped that night that didn't have an experience. So I'm kind of sad.
I was with when I used to work at the Show Me Institute. I went to a conference in Savannah, and we were staying at it was a beautiful hotel, but it had been refurbished, and it was this big building that had been redone. And so it was real fancy, but it was really old. And one of the gals in our group, it was basically for communications directors and VPs of communication for the conservative think tanks, the free market think tanks. And one morning, we're all meeting for like breakfast, and she's like, guys, something happened.
Oh.
And like her shower kept turning on, and then she'd walk in, it would turn off. And so she's like, stuff was moving. And so she was, I did not see it personally. Nothing happened in my room. But she had the stories, and the way she was telling it, man, it was like hairs on your arm standing up, because we're sitting right there. I was like, this is freaking cool, man. This is awesome.
Now, just a heads up,
Yes.
we've got a big change coming to the morning show, and it's not adding ghosts or doing seances.
No, it's not.
But we will be telling you what that change is tomorrow at 7:05. So tune in and join us.
Kathy Connor from Connor Roofing is here. Kathy, how you doing?
Good. Hi, Vic.
You know, when you need a roof, I don't want to call a stranger. I want to call you.
Yeah, thanks. At Connor Roofing, we're more than just a roofing company.
How long you been doing it?
Since 1993.
And year after year, storm after storm, you guys are always there.
Because this is our home too, Vic. Our kids go to school with your kids. We cheer for the same teams. Go Blues!
So support your neighbors. Call Connor Roofing at 314-375-7475 or CONNER roofing.com.
Thanks, Vic.
Hey, firearms enthusiast, looking for a family and veteran-owned shop with a wide selection of products and services? Head to DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green. DG Firearms has been your one-stop shop for custom ARs, Cerakoting, laser engraving, gunsmithing, suppressors, ammo, and reloading supplies. DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green, and online at dgfirearmsllc.com.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Someone who is fighting cancer, undergoing surgery, or experiencing a life-threatening illness. The need for blood is critical and constant.
I'm Congressman Bob Onder. A single blood donation can save lives. Donate blood today and offer help and hope to those who need it most.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint, formulated to outsmart the elements. Rain or shine, sleet or snow, mold or mildew. Our home exterior coatings intelligently designed to stand up to Mother Nature. Call 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Colombo and Company.
On Monday, we start the week with some changes in the weather, but what about the news? We'll get the latest from Ukraine and on the shutdown, plus Virginia Cruda, Paul Kurtman, and AI expert Mike McCleary.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on NewsTalkSTL.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
We're still comparing notes on the ghost stuff because you mentioned Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
And I went on one of those walking tours of the ghost stories. And of course, they only do them late at night.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I did the same thing in New Orleans.
Ooh, the big hoodoo area.
Yeah. I mean, and those are fun. I mean, those are really fun. The Savannah, Georgia one was fascinating. There's this one tour, and they I think they probably had 6, 7, 8 different stories, and like right here, and here's what happened. And we had dinner in one of the places where, you know, of course, I mean, in Savannah, everything's supposed to be haunted there, but we got to one area is like this city park area, beautiful monument that was built to whatever. And there was a story of like, you know, there was a, you know, indigenous Native American grave that was basically paved over so they could build this big monument to whatever. And then there was also a case of I'm trying to remember the story right, but it was I think it was a slave, a woman who was accused of doing something that turns out she did not do, and they hung her from one of the trees right there in the park, right where we were. And they, of course, they knew how to tell these stories, and they're saying, and you know, the supposed reminder is the curse that said that, you know, nothing's going to grow on that branch that she was hung from. And they're like, and it was that branch. And we turn around, nothing's on the branch.
Wow.
Everything else is in full bloom, you know, and the willows and the weeping stuff. And they're like, but nothing ever grows on that one. And that's a healthy branch. And so it was just really, now, again, I'm not believing in all this stuff, but it was the way they told the story was pretty phenomenal.
Well, and that's the thing about good, storytelling is that I can appreciate it, even if it's, you know, maybe some liberties are taken. Like one of the restaurants that we went to, it's a very nice, good food. I'm not going to name them because they don't pay me, but
yeah, that's right. Darn right.
Yeah. But so part of their thing is that the upstairs confirmed, this is all documented. It at one point had been a mental institution where patients were deeply abused and not properly handled after being deceased. Then it went into being like a Civil War era.
Oh yeah.
hospital where people were dying left and right. Then some other stuff happened. It burned down the roof. And so the second floor is supposed to be really, really haunted. And you have to do like a guided tour with them and stuff. And my smart self was like, well, why did you guys make this to a restaurant? Like, who wants to eat when there's ghosts up there?
That's right.
All this horrible stuff going on. But
look up Alton.
Ooh.
Like Alton has story after story after story after story after story. If there's like, I think some of those like guided like at night, I may try to do that the week of Halloween. That sounds like a blast.
We should do a remote.
I'm in
Alton.
I'm in
for Halloween.
Come on, some business in Alton. Hey, Fast Eddie's, somebody.
Yes.
Come on, let's go. I'm just saying, let's do it.
See,
I'm in.
Drink some spirits with the spirits.
That's right.
Right.
Just saying. Okay. Let's do a quick political thing here.
Okay.
I'm curious what people think about this over the past week. I mean, obviously, President Trump, can juggle, 40 things at the same time on this. But one of the things that he did was go after the two arguably most constitutional members of Congress, Rand Paul and Thomas Massie.
Yes.
I mean, he's now there. Thomas Massie doesn't even officially have a key opponent in the primary. And President Trump already endorsed guys saying, this is the guy that you should support. Well, he hasn't even announced a campaign on this.
They have already dropped billions on smear campaigns while they've tried to figure out who they want to actually run against Massie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying I'm a huge fanboy, but good luck beating Thomas Massie.
Yeah, and there are a few things I don't see eye to eye with Thomas Massie on. I agree with Thomas Massie on most everything. A few things I don't, but there's some that I really he's, to me, since Justin Amash left Congress, Thomas Massie is easily the most constitutional of the members of the House of Representatives.
Yes.
In the Senate, I think that Rand Paul is the most constitutional member of the Senate. And the president just goes off on him. He's a loser and terrible and all this kind of stuff. Rand Paul responded, with more grace than I think most of us would. He was on Meet the Press, and here was the response that he had.
I think he's one of the best presidents, if not the best presidents of my lifetime. But it doesn't mean I will sit quietly and just say, oh, well, whatever you want to do. I was elected to have a voice.
Yeah. So this is not a good plan to be attacking the strongest constitutional and conservatives in the party because they object to some parts of the administration. Because remember, the whole purpose of the separation of powers was to counterbalance and ultimately limit government on this. So that was incredibly graceful by Senator Rand Paul. He's still not swinging back. But he also made it clear, I'm not going to stop talking about the things with which I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, President Trump calling Thomas Massie a rhino, or the fact that people actually can't be bothered to look into the voting record, the publicly available voting record of Thomas Massie, and see that he is the furthest thing from a rhino that we probably have had in Congress for quite a while.
Okay, so the definition of rhino has changed. I was thinking about this over the weekend. Back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, a rhino was somebody who was not free market, was not conservative, was not, really, really principled on conservative stuff, including free markets. That was a rhino. That was your Mitt Romneys. That was your, John McCain's. That was your Michael Steele's, people like that.
So quite literally somebody that's part of the party without any of the party values.
Right. Okay. That was what a rhino used to be.
Gotcha.
Is somebody who's not free market, big government, big spender. Okay. Now a rhino is somebody who is free market and is, strictly constitutional for limited government because now a rhino is just is like anybody who disagrees with, the party narrative and the party line on it, because that shows you how much the Republican Party in Washington, D.C. has changed. Isn't that exactly right now? A rhino is a free market conservative. That's what's considered rhino right now, which is really bizarre and frustrating at the same time.
So from a young and naive mind, so would it be accurate to say that the old school rhino, the rhino that I was thinking of, is somebody, again, that's part of the party, but does not have any sort of the values. Right. Now a rhino is just anybody that is in the party that does not go along with whatever the rest of the party has to do. Okay.
Yeah. So, if Rand Paul and Thomas Massie are traditional conservatives, they're traditional constitutionalist conservatives. Yes. We need more of them. We do not need to be running them out of office. And
amen.
And it's also, I think the president's making a big mistake on this one, especially with Massey.
Yes.
Now, what are they really mad at Massey for right now? He's got the votes. As soon as the House reconvenes and the government reopens, he's got the votes to force a vote on the Epstein files.
Yes.
I mean, he's got it.
Well,
they've got the 218.
And I am extremely excited to see how that plays out. But I would like to caveat a little bit and say I first noticed this sort of attacking during the Big Beautiful Bill thing,
Right.
because he was one of the only people to say this is going to be terrible for our budget. There's a lot of stuff in here that we should be cutting out of it. And a lot of the stuff that was promised regarding our two-way rights was completely stripped round one by our own side. So I think that that's really what started it. Now, again, I want the list.
Yeah.
I think you want the list. I know
I want
Gabe
the
wants
list.
Yeah, we all
want the list. Everybody should want the list.
So, because I've heard some conspiracies that's part of why the government's shutdown's taking a long time, is to stall that, and then keep pointing fingers at the Democrats. I love me and my conspiracies. I don't buy that one.
Yeah, so you're a conspiracy guy. I'm not, but yeah, that one is I think there's a lot of people, both Republican and Democrat, who are nervous about what's in those files.
Oh, of course.
But the Democrats truly want $1 trillion of spending, and they think if they hurt enough people, that there'll be enough pressure on the Republicans to restore it.
And how do they think they're going to get $1 trillion of spending? Who thinks that's a good idea when we already have almost $38 trillion in debt that we haven't paid back yet?
Generally, over years, both Republicans and Democrats have thought that, but mostly Democrats on that. By the way, Allison, great point on Rumble in the city, the Lemp Mansion.
Ooh.
They've got some great ghost stories there. And the Lemp Mansion's really cool. Sometime go get lunch or dinner there. It's really, really, really cool. And you can kind of walk through the whole place. And there's a lot of, that's a great one. That's a great building and a great thing. That would be a lot of fun as well.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's